Revolution. And welcome to a cold, loud night in Philadelphia. Rain is falling, but we are ready to go. It's Game 5 of this 2008 World Series between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Philadelphia Phillies. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Joe Buck. Tim McCarver is coming right up. So here are the Tampa Bay Rays, down 3-1. What are they up against? Well, I'll tell you this, a lot of people have counted them out more times than not during the course of the season. They lost the 7 games leading into the All-Star break. In the second half, they lost Carl Crawford. They lost Evan Longoria. People thought, well, they're not going to make it. They will not outlast the Boston Red Sox in the AL East. They did. Then in the ALCS, once a more experienced Boston Red Sox team forced a 7th game, people thought, well, it's been a nice run, but they're not going to make it to the World Series. Here they are. They're down 3-1 here in Philadelphia, and they certainly have it stacked against them here tonight. Why? Because the Phillies so far this postseason are 6-0 at home, and here tonight they have the undefeated ace on the mound, Cole Hamels, who's trying to become the first pitcher since division play started and the wild card round was introduced to start and win 5 games during a singular postseason. So it's not going to be easy. And Tim McCarver, the question to you, you've got to be the one to answer it. If you're the Tampa Bay Rays, how do you turn this thing around and stop the momentum and get something done?
Well, Joe Maddon says that it's time to push the rock in the other direction, to turn the momentum as early as he can in the ball game. And what he's done is he's changed the lineup. Remember, games 1 through 4, the lineup was the same players, same order. But tonight, Carl Crawford moves into the number 2 hole, and everybody else moves down a notch. B.J. Upton, Carlos Pena, and Evan Longoria.
And what he does in essence is he puts a lot more speed at the top. That's the Tampa Bay Rays game. And when you think about it, this game and these series are all about momentum, either starting it or stopping it. And right now it's Philadelphia with all the momentum hitting wise from the home runs in Game 3 and then the 10 spot they put up last night. And on the other side, the Tampa Bay Rays are just trying to get anything going here tonight. So they are up against it. There is no doubt about it. And they need it to go their way early this evening. It's one win at a time for them. And they tonight face a city and its fans that have been waiting 28 years. And the Phillies bring their ace to the mound to finish the job. It's Game 5 of the World Series, and it's yours next on Fox. Welcome back to the Chevy pregame show on Fox. Chevy, an American revolution. Tampa Bay Rays and Joe Maddon have changed it up. Here is Rocco Baldelli with their lineup.
Hey, this is Rocco Baldelli, and here's tonight's starting lineup for the Tampa Bay Rays. Batting leadoff, second baseman, Akinora Iwamura. Batting second, Carl Crawford, left field. Batting third, B.J. Upton, center field. Batting fourth, our first baseman and spiritual leader, Carlos Pena. Batting fifth, Evan Longoria, third base. Batting sixth, Deanna Navarro, our catcher. Batting seventh, myself, Rocco Baldelli, playing right field. Batting eighth, Jason Bartlett, our shortstop. And batting ninth, our pitcher, Scott Kasner.
Good work, Rocco. And here's a look at the Philadelphia Phillies defense. And in the heart of that defense, right on the bump, is Cole Hamels. He's in the middle of that group. Burl, Victorino, Worth, Feliz, Rollins, Utley, Howard, Ruiz doing the catching. Hamels will be on the mound when we come back, and you will see the first pitch of Game 5 of this World Series right after this. The World Series on Fox is sponsored by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? By Holiday Inn, the more you stay, the more you earn. By E-Trade. And by McDonald's. Before we get to work, we give you the Ford keys to the game.
Tampa Bay trying to rise from the ashes. They need a big hit early. And for the Philadelphia Phillies, they're trying to finish the deal and not let Tampa Bay up.
Our opening pitch brought to you by Bud Light. The difference is drinkability. And off we go. How good has Cole Hamels been? Well, to this point, he could not have been any better. How does he get along tonight? Iwamura first up, and strike one. Akinori got hits in his first 3 at-bats during this World Series. He is 0 for 12 since. It's actually left-handed batters this postseason who have hit 300 against Hamels. The right-handers have been helpless, hitting 130. And there are the numbers. Postseason hitting .258, 1 home run, 5 RBIs. 43 degrees at the start of the night. And on the outside corner, strike 2.
First on the inside with the fastball, and then on the outside.
Working in a hurry. And Iwamura flies one to left into the teeth of the wind. 1 out. Here is the sprint pitcher profile for Cole Hamels.
Well, you think about it, Cole Hamels may never have this chance again. World-class changeup at 3 fastballs to Iwamura. And there is no young pitcher that I've encountered in a long time, Joe, who has a better mental approach to pitching than Cole Hamels.
Here is Carl Crawford up in the number 2 spot, and he hits one on a line. Rollins drops it, throws low, and got it. It'll be interesting to see how quickly Crawford got out of the box. He made it close at first. Howard dug it out at the other end.
Yep. Yeah, he slowed down about 4 feet out of the box. Had he run, that's a natural reaction, but it's a reaction that cost the Rays because Crawford beats the throw had he not slowed down.
So 2 out, nobody on, and B.J. Upton stands in. Change up for a strike. B.J. now hitting in the number 3 spot with Pena on deck. Rollins gets another chance. That was quick. Cole Hamels picks up where he left off. Bottom of the first. Game 5, no score.
Here's tonight's starting lineup for the Philadelphia Phillies. At shortstop, Jimmy Rollins, better known as J-Lo. At right field, Jason Worth. At second base, Chase Utley. And at first base, the man to take it deep, Ryan Howard. And the ladies' man in left field, Pat Burrell. At center field, Shane Victorino. At third base, Pedro Feliz. And at catcher, he'll take you deep as well, Carlos Ruiz. And the man himself at pitcher. We all know him and we love him, Cole Hamels.
They'll love him even more if he wins tonight and wraps up the World Series. We thank Donovan McNabb, who was poked in the eye, by the way, hence the sunglasses. Yesterday, the Eagles took care of the Atlanta Falcons, and we thank Donovan for bringing us the starting lineup for the Philadelphia Phillies. You saw the numbers for Scott Kazmir, who during the regular season won 12 games, lost 8, an ERA of under 3.5. Jimmy Rollins first up. Ball 1. Kazmir is the Rays' all-time leader in wins, innings pitched, strikeouts, starts, and ERA. And his teammates ask him to get this series back to Florida. 2-0.
That's one of the problems with Kazmir. He walked 70 in 153 innings. That's a little over 4 per game. He can be wild early, and the elements are certainly not with him tonight.
He's allowed 2 runs in the first inning in 3 of his 4 postseason starts as well. And he finds the strike zone. Throwing hard, 92. Key for him is that slider, as we've talked about already this postseason. Here's his 2-1 to Rollins. 3-1.
That's a problem with falling behind. With a guy like Kazmir, if he falls behind often, he can't use the slider.
On the inside corner, 3-2. Good tailing delivery from Scott Kazmir. And a strike all the way. Jimmy Rollins doesn't win any points with Jeff Kellogg, the home plate umpire, and Deanna Navarro had the straps to his mask snap on this cold night. Let's look at the defense for the Tampa Bay Rays. Come back, Deanna. Crawford in left, B.J. Upton in center, Rocco Baldelli in right with Longoria, Bartlett, Iwamura, Carlos Pena at first. Navarro has to go back to the clubhouse to get his other mask. And Scott Kazmir is in the middle of it with a full count now on Jimmy Rollins. There are the umpires. Jeff Kellogg behind the plate. Sheeta at first. Tim Welke, the crew chief, at second. Kerwin Danley, Fielden Culbreth, and Tom Hallion worked the plate last night. He's down the right field line tonight. 3-2. And a fly ball into left, right at Crawford. One away. Let's give you the sprint pitcher profile for Kazmir, who battled back from a 3-1 count to get Jimmy Rollins.
Joe Maddon and the Rays do not care how he does it. Just get them back to Tampa Bay for game 6 and possibly 7. Showing that slider early, we've talked about that, and the improved changeup due to a sprained left elbow in spring training.
Yeah, and I would imagine a lot of Rays fans remember when they heard that Scott Kazmir in late February on the 26th had been diagnosed with a strained elbow, was going to miss time, start the year on the disabled list. And I'm sure at the time Tampa Bay fans were thinking, here we go again. They had the worst record in baseball last year. Everybody's worn out that stat, but then you start spring training and the guy who's been their most reliable starter is going to start the season on the DL. Here's a 1-0. Good popping fastball from the left-hander, who is 24 years old. Was the winning pitcher in July's All-Star game at Yankee Stadium, Scott Kazmir. A 1-1. Strike 2.
First slider of the night for Kazmir. Stays on the outside to Jason Worth. Worth leading all hitters with home runs against left-handed pitching this year with 16.
The 1-2. 2-2. Mentioned it during our open. This is a Philadelphia Phillies lineup that 2 nights ago on that rainy Saturday night popped 3 home runs back-to-back with Utley and Howard, and that carried on to last night's game as that misses inside when the Phillies hit 4, including 1 by their starting pitcher Joe Blanton. So they are riding momentum offensively with the long ball. They have a 3-1 lead in this series. 3-2 pitch now from Kazmir. That's ball 4. 1 on, 1 out. The first base runner of the night is Jason Worth. Back in game 1 in this matchup between Utley and Kazmir. Worth was on and Utley rode 1 out. Phillies won game 1 3-2 behind Cole Hamels. And great relief work from Madsen and Lidge. One of Chase's 2 home runs this World Series, but not a ton of hits, just 3 out of 15.
Phillies have won 3 games, and the Rays have not been ahead in any of those 3 games. Phillies scoring in the first inning in all 3 games.
Now Utley is hit by a pitch, so more wildness from Kazmir. And after the walk, it's 2 on, 1 out for the suddenly red-hot Ryan Howard.
Chase Utley stands very close to the plate, and that's why he's been hit 52 times in the last 2 years. That leads all major leaguers. Taking one for the team right here. Fastball inside. And the Phillies are threatening.
Kazmir fell behind Rollins 3-1, came back and got him, but then a walk, a hit batsman. Here's Howard, who has rediscovered the long ball. 3 home runs the last 2 nights. Ball 1. Making that uphill climb for the Rays a lot steeper if Kazmir gives up first inning runs. The 1-0. Sneaks a fastball in there. Another rare fastball for Howard. They've been able to slip a few in there. He got one 2 nights ago and hit it for a home run, and that was good enough for strike one. Good heat, 94 from Kazmir, and Howard couldn't get around on it.
Fastball on the inside part of the plate. That's where the fastballs are headed for Ryan Howard. I would imagine he'll see a slider right now.
On deck is Burrell, who is hitless in this World Series. And a big strikeout for Kazmir as he went, Tim, right after him with fastballs, and all Ryan Howard can do is walk back to the dugout shaking his head.
First pitch, a slider, and then the fastball right down the pipe. Good fastball inside, and he just blows him away with another fastball.
So now Burrell and the Phillies are asking for something out of their left fielder. His only RBI in this World Series on a bases loaded walk last night. Slider, and Burrell out in front of it. Strike one as he fouled it. Since game 2 of the National League Championship Series, Burrell has 27 at bats, 4 singles, 11 strikeouts, and just 3 RBIs.
Pat Burrell, a very good low ball hitter.
.33 home runs during the regular season. 2 on with 2 out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Shane Victorino next.
Because of that wind blowing in from left field, a night where left-handers can really challenge right-handed hitters. And that's a rarity in this ballpark, a park in which 189 home runs were hit this year.
The 1-1. In case you're wondering, that ranks as the 7th most hit in any park during 2008. So another chance with runners in scoring position for Burrell. And for the Phillies, 2-1 pitch from Kazmir. Inside, 3-1.
Third 3-ball count in this inning. And he has hit a batter, Chase Utley, on the first pitch.
That's ball 4 in a rather tight strike zone for Kazmir, who has walked 2, hit a batter, and they're loaded for Victorino.
Very, very close. Often when a pitcher does not agree with the home plate umpire, he'll come off the mound and come forward toward home plate. And I think that's why Pena is out to talk to Scott, and Navarro joins both of them.
I would say a strike could have been called on either of those last 2 pitches, and Kazmir was bothered by it, no doubt. Pena saw it. You heard Rocco Baldelli, when he gave the lineup, say that Pena is our spiritual leader. He did a little counseling when he came over from first base to try and redirect Kazmir to come up with a big out here with Victorino, who could deliver some runs for the Phillies here in the first inning. Ball 1. The runners aboard. Worth, Utley, and Burrell. Two and 0. Two and 1. Victorino with a grand slam this postseason. Game 2 of the division series. Batting right-handed off Sabathia. Here's a 2-1. Line drive down the left field line. Victorino delivers 2. Phillies strike first.
In many ways, it's easier for a hitter to hit when a pitcher is wild, because when he gets behind in the count, the pitch that he throws is predictable. And that fastball, Victorino waiting on it and hammers it. So the walk scores, and Chase Utley, who was hit by the pitch, scores.
So again, Kazmir gives up 2 in the first. Now 4 out of his 5 postseason starts, and it could be bigger depending on what Pedro Feliz does. Charlie Manuel, Tim, has talked all series, really all postseason long, about his big hitters being more disciplined at the plate, not jumping at deliveries. They've been very disciplined here in the first inning tonight and let Kazmir, who, as we've said, can get wild, get himself into trouble.
That's Charlie's mantra: slow feet, quick hands. That's what Victorino had.
Now Feliz with a base hit to left. Crawford will come up throwing, and they hold Burrell, who doesn't run well. Bases loaded. 2 out.
You talk about going down and getting a pitch. This ball out of the strike zone down, and Feliz just rakes it over the head of Jason Bartlett. Proper play by Steve Smith, the third base coach, to hold Pat Burrell. He would have been out at home.
So the hit loads him up, and the 8th man in the lineup for the Phillies, Carlos Ruiz, bats. Look at his average in this World Series, .417, and Kazmir steps off.
I'd get somebody ready right now. I mean, there's no experimenting right here. No action in the Rays bullpen. And by the time somebody gets in there, it might be too late.
Ruiz hits it in the air to left. Wind will knock it down, and the Phillies get 2. Shane Victorino adds to that RBI total, now 13 this postseason, and 2 big ones to start the scoring in Game 5. Kazmir walking off, shot a glance at the home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg, not liking those 2 pitches. Ball 3 and ball 4 called to Pat Burrell, led to the 2-run single by Victorino. Phillies score first tonight, and here is Pena trying to bunt his way on, and he is out, number 1 in the second. So Carlos Pena, who hit 31 home runs during the regular season, now 0 for 14 after this attempt.
Yeah, when your cleanup hitter in Game 5 is hitless and tries to bunt his first time up, it gives you an idea of the struggle of the cleanup hitter. However, Pena hitting 3rd in the other 4 games.
With a combination now of Pena and Longoria, who remain back-to-back in this lineup, now 0 for 30. Longoria pops it into center field. That'll play easily for Victorino. How about Cole Hamels has thrown 9 pitches. He has 2 out in the top of the second. Scott Kazmir had to throw 29 pitches to get through the bottom of the first.
That's another indication of a struggle when 2 hitters trailing by 2 lead off the inning and both swinging at the first pitch. The bunt attempt and then Longoria. You forget about your patience as a hitter.
And in the patience department, the Rays in this World Series have shown their age and their experience. Joe Madden telling us before the game, something's got to happen. Somebody's got to pop one. Somebody's got to come up with a big stolen base. And what he has witnessed is 2 runs in the bottom of the first for the Phillies. Hamels been out there for 10 pitches, 3 minutes, and Kazmir had a 15-minute first. Navarro with a count, 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out, nobody on. Rocco Baldelli on deck. Two and 1. Cole Hamels won Game 1 of the division series against Milwaukee, went 8, allowed no runs on 2 hits, struck out 9, walked 1. That was his best start of this postseason, but he won games 1 and 5 of the NLCS. And game 1 of this World Series down in Florida, 7 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits in a 3-2 win. Here's his 3-1 to Deanna Navarro. Good rip, but a full count. A 2-out walk. The inning continues for Baldelli, and we look at Cole Hamels and what he's done this postseason. Whether it was against Milwaukee, 2 against the Dodgers, and now in his second start of this World Series against the Rays, has not allowed more than 2 runs in any start this postseason. Baldelli is 0 for 3 in this World Series. He made a start in game 2, and he takes a pitch up and in.
In fact, in that start, he went 9 innings, and that is the first time he has played 9 innings all year.
Baldelli pops it up. Utley fights the wind and makes the play. A walk, a man left, bottom of the second. Philadelphia game 5, 2-0 Phillies. Light. The difference is drinkability. Fighting that wind up above. The aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Now get over 130 of your favorite channels in HD. Cole Hamels first up for Philadelphia. Then Jimmy Rollins, then Jason Worth, and a fastball in for a strike. Hamels 1 for 7 swinging the bat this postseason, had 17 hits during the regular year. Right after him with 2 fastballs, it's 0-2.
Only Carlos Zambrano of the Chicago Cubs had more hits than Cole Hamels this year as a pitcher.
And he is strikeout victim number 2 for Kazmir, and out number 1 here in the second. 42 degrees and a lot of wind, 17 miles per hour, light rain most of the night. And here's Shane Victorino on his way back to the dugout moments ago.
It's weird, the ball when it gets, even on mine, it sat there, but it's still, it floated. It didn't come like down right away. Yeah, but I mean, it didn't come down right away. You understand what I'm saying? Like, kind of sat up there, so keep moving your feet in case it does sit and the wind takes it.
It is a swirling wind here, and for the most part, it has blown in from left or more left to right. And as Tim said in the first inning, it should benefit the left-handed batters more tonight. Right-handed hitters pulling the ball are hitting it right into the teeth of that 17-mile-per-hour wind.
Yeah, when Jason Worth and Shane Victorino got in the dugout, that was confirmed by Chase Utley.
One ball, two strikes on Jimmy Rollins.
Jimmy Rollins still looking for his first hit of the World Series as a right-handed batter, 0 for 6.
The 1-2 pitch rather is outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I mentioned the runs in the first inning, a problem for Kazmir. This postseason an ERA of 13.5 in the first inning and just 2.04 ERA the rest of the way. The 2-2 pitch. Full count. Rollins went up to get that one and flips it into right. 2 out. So Rollins 0 for 2 tonight. Jason Worth will bat with the bases empty. A reminder that Jason Bartlett's Game 1 stolen base won America a free taco from Taco Bell. Visit a participating Taco Bell tomorrow between 2 and 6 p.m. to get your free taco. I think 4 o'clock would be a good time for you to stop by Taco Bell, Tim.
Yes. Will it be in Tampa Bay? Don't know.
That's up to the Rays and the Phillies. Two to nothing. Philadelphia on top here in the second. A 1-0 pitch to Jason Worth. 2-0. Tell you, if the Rays get this series back to Florida, they go back, I would say, with favorable pitching matchups and back to a place where they led baseball with the best home record in the game in 2008.
Having James Shields and Matt Garza as their starters if it goes 7.
There's a 2-1. 2-2.
So Rollins goes after a 3-2 pitch out of the strike zone up, and so does Jason Worth. The slider to even the count.
2 out, nobody on here in the second. And Worth fights it off. This is a Philadelphia Phillies lineup, an offensive group. It's pounded 9 home runs during this World Series and 19 during the postseason. The majority of their runs have come via the home run ball. Not in the first, though. A 2-out, 2-run hit by Victorino. That's out of play. Count stays 2-2. In the top of the third, the Rays will have Bartlett, Kazmir, and Iwamura. Another foul.
Jason Worth, after the All-Star game, went into Charlie Manuel's office and said, Charlie, I think I should be playing every day. Charlie said, well, you're playing against left-handers now, and you hit right-handers a little better, and I'll agree with you.
And he has a hit off the left-hander Kazmir to keep the second going. A little bobble by Crawford, but he gets it back in. It's a 2-out single for Jason Worth.
Pretty good hitting right here. A breaking ball by Evan Longoria at third. So Jason Worth is the regular right fielder as we speak.
And Charlie Manuel, even at the beginning of this series and into game 3, into game 4 last night, has not tinkered with this lineup at all. We made that switch of Worth into the 2 spot, Victorino into the 6 hole during the LCS, and he stayed with it. Here's Utley. Hit by pitch and scored a run in the first. Strike one. Utley, one of the most productive second baseman in the game, pops it up. Left side for Longoria. And he has it to end the inning. It can be an adventure tonight on pop-ups or fly balls here in Game 5. Third inning now, 2-0 Philadelphia. No hits tonight so far for the Rays, and they will have 8, 9, and 1. Bartlett, Kazmir, and Iwamura. And a strike from Hamels. Well, he really does himself a favor, Tim, by throwing strike one.
That's that great mental approach we were talking about, using his fastball for strikes early in the count.
That's up and in for Bartlett, who during the regular season had the best average in the American League against left-handed pitching, 379, but during this postseason, just 3 for 18. Now he's in the hole 1 and 2. No hits for the Rays, who since Game 5 of the ALCS have as a group hit 181 and averaged 2.8 runs per game after averaging over 6.5 the first 9 games of the postseason, when they hit 287 as a group and hit 19 of their 25 home runs. Here's a 2-2. Bartlett hits it foul.
I think one of the reasons that Hamels is throwing more fastballs is because of the cool evening. A lot of times you can't get a good grip on that changeup when it's cold, and it's cold tonight.
That's high. And a full count. By far the longest year for the young Cole Hamels. He's won 38 games as a big leaguer since he came up in 2006. 256 plus innings as a ground ball checks on the shortstop. Rollins, one away. Home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg went down and visited with Tim Sheeta during the break, and here's what they were talking about.
He wiped out the last 10 feet of the foul line when he dove into first base. If you look down, there's nothing there.
Oh,
and that's you up to the bag.
Okay.
I kind of like you to have a line.
Okay.
So let's tell him if he can get it out here at the next half inning.
All right.
We don't want to delay the game.
Which guy is it?
Any one of these.
Any one of the red guys?
One of those guys and tell him to get the groundskeeper.
Okay.
All right.
I'll do it right now.
Which they did. Grounds crew came out and repainted that line leading to the first base bag. First pitch a strike yet again from Hamels, and now another to Kazmir. That's what they did during the break prior to the start of this third inning. And that was quick, and strikeout number 1 for Cole Hamels. Still no hits for the Rays. The World Series on Fox, sponsored by Sprint. Get more done with Nextel Direct Connect, only on the Now Network. By State Farm, at home or away, State Farm is there. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And by Chevy, an American Revolution. Here is Iwamura, and there is ball 1 outside. Akinori flied to left his first time, and he's now 0 for his last 13 in this World Series. Ball and a strike.
One of the worst things you could do as a left-handed batter is bail out against left-handed pitching, and that's what Iwamura has been doing last several nights.
That one's up and in, 2-1.
Very difficult to keep that right shoulder in there, but that's what you have to do to hit left-handers effectively.
Here's a 2-1 pitch with 2 out, nobody on, and a foul back and out of play. 2-2. Iwamura with a base hit in the first of the night for the Rays. He keeps this top of the third alive As that one, it looked like, might have gone right between the legs of Cole Hamels.
It was a changeup, and Iwamura with 3 hits off Cole Hamels in game 1, and 2 of those hits were with the changeup.
Just outside the right leg and back into center field. And now Carl Crawford, who, by the way, if you haven't seen the Rays this year, is no stranger to the number 2 spot in the lineup. And he grounds one to the right side. Utley to his left. That'll do it. Made 83 starts in that number 2 spot in the lineup. He's 0 for 2. Rays have their first hit, but trailed 2-zip after 2.5. Ryan Howard is a cleanup hitter for Charlie Manuel. 4, 5, and 6 hitters here in the 3rd inning. 2-0 Philly. Thanks to a 2-out 2-run hit by Shane Victorino in the bottom of the 1st. Strike 1 to Howard, who struck out. We saw a lot of fastballs first time up, and he sees one here, and the count's 0-2. On 0-2, Howard strikes out again. Kazmir went right after him, and we give you our Verizon Series summary. First game, Utley went deep, and Cole Hamels took care of the rest. Game 2, a 4-2 win for Tampa Bay behind Shields. Game 3, rain started after 10 Eastern, and Jamie Moyer took care of the first part. Phillies won it here, 5-4 in the 9th. As Bruntlett scored the winning run, and then last night the Phillies went off. 4 home runs and a 10-2 win to take a 3-1 series lead. And now with 1 out, nobody on, here's Pat Burrell. There's ball 1. We've been keeping a camera on Cole Hamels down in the dugout for the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Southern Californian, in his typical laid-back style, is proving that he is unfazed by the stage, by the situation. He's having fun tonight.
Great body language.
The 1-1 pitch, Burrell pops it up. Into right for Baldelli, 2 out, and this is the night away from the mound for Cole Hamels. Talking to anybody who will listen to him, bouncing around that dugout, and the 24-year-old is having fun. And why not? As you said at the beginning during the Sprint pitcher profile, he may never be in this situation again. Who knows? There's strike 1 on Victorino.
Jimmy Fry used to be the manager of the Chicago Cubs, and when asked about the poise of Doc Gooden when Gooden was a young pitcher for the Mets, Fry said, I'd be poised too if I could throw like that and have that kind of curveball. So as far as Cole Hamels is concerned, no wonder he's having fun.
0-2 is the count on Victorino, who has the game's only RBIs. And Kazmir is settling in. He's looking for some help from his lineup. Part of the order coming up in the 4th. 2-0 Philadelphia. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. And by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. 4th inning now, in the heart of the lineup for Joe Maddon, the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays, who we had a chance to visit with during the break. B.J. Upton, first up, takes a strike. Grounded out to short his first time, and that pitch almost came back for strike 2. Instead, it's ball 1. The rain picks up a little bit as we play here in the 4th inning. Left side, gets by Phillies, and it's the throw by Rollins for the out. Good play by Jimmy Rollins, and that's out number 1. And here is our chat with Joe Maddon talking about Kazmir settling in and looking for something to happen out of his lineup.
that we have to do something offensively. I thought the first inning actually threw the ball pretty good. Some of those calls were relatively close from here, but for the most part, the fastball seems to be pretty good, and the slider actually looks better today also.
Yeah, I know you changed your lineup in anticipation for tonight's game, just trying to change things up and get a little more speed at the top, and then you guys can do what you do.
Yeah, just had to unfreeze the log jam a bit. We're just having a hard time getting this thing rolling, and Carl has hit in the 2-hole for us on many occasions this year. He's very comfortable there. BJ's done the 3-hole, etc. So just wanted to do something different, see if we get it rolling tonight.
Joe, the one thing we did not ask you before the game, your usage of David Price tonight.
As much as we want, as much as we can eat. He's ready to go. He's had, what, 3 days off now. It could be 2+ if necessary. There's no saving for tomorrow right now, so we'll use David as we see fit.
All right, Joe, thanks for your time. Good luck the rest of the night.
Thank you.
Thanks. Tim, you and I talked about it before the game. Of all the managers that we have ever dealt with in the, 13 years we've been together, nobody has been more forthcoming or accessible, open with information than Joe Maddon. He's been great to deal with.
Honest, thoughtful, and straight.
The 0-1 to Pena, who fouled that first pitch off his foot, is inside, a ball and a strike. Pena tried to bunt his way on his first time up and bunted it right at Ryan Howard for an out, so he is now 0 for 14. The 1-1 is launched into right field. Will it carry? Back at the wall. This ball is off the wall. Pena will dig around second and hold with a 1-out double. Will that be the spark and the start of something for this Tampa Bay lineup?
First hit of the World Series for Pena. Looked like Jason Worth jumping, and the ball actually goes to the side of his glove. The leap was there, but his windage was off. I'll tell you, a ball hit this high. I mean, if you're Pena and you're running hard all the way, I think you're on third base instead of second, and with 1 out, that could have been a very big 90 feet.
I don't disagree with you at all. I thought he was watching it and not busting it down the first baseline. Still had a shot.
Yeah.
Even with watching it, of making it to third base with 1 out. But not running hard to first, more watching. And now Longoria grounds one into left center. It doesn't matter. The combination of Pena and Longoria come up big. It's 2-1 as Evan Longoria gets his second RBI of this World Series and his first base hit.
So back-to-back hits, a double by Pena, and now on the first pitch, the ball just eluding Jimmy Rollins, diving at shortstop, and Tampa Bay on the board.
So that combination of Pena and Longoria have gone 0 for 31 to start this World Series, and now they go back-to-back with a double, an RBI hit. And here's Deanna Navarro in what is now a 1-run game. Ball 1 high. It is in the category of a nasty night here on the 27th of October. Cold, windy, and now raining. And raining as hard as it has at any point tonight, as that one's inside 2-0. So Navarro looks down at his third base coach Tom Foley as he gets back in. Longoria the runner at first with 1 away. That's high, and ball 3, 3-0 with Rocco Baldelli on deck. Hamels needs a strike, and he finds one. It's 3-1. A high strike to make it 3-1. Runner at first, 1 out, and now a ground ball to short. Rollins flips out over to first, out, double play. What a difference a pitch makes. Instead of ball 4, it's strike 1. The double play follows. Pena and Longoria combined to make it 2-1 in the 4th. Bottom of the 4th inning, 2-1 now. Each side has 3 hits. Kazmir has settled in through just 9 pitches through the 4, 5, and 6 hitters last inning. And strike 1 on a foul back to the screen. In case you're wondering, as the weather seems to be getting worse as we go here, there are no special rules in the postseason in the World Series. If this thing doesn't go 4.5 innings, it's no game. And you start over. But the forecast from what we have been able to find out is for this to really continue throughout the majority of the night. More in the category of a mist, as 3 straight foul balls have been sent backward by Pedro Feliz.
Scott Kazmir would like to do that first inning over. Wildness, a couple of walks, a hit batsman, and a 2-out hit by Shane Victorino.
Feliz with a base hit, his first time up, and now he strikes out. That is strikeout number 5 for Kazmir, who can ring him up. Last year, 2007, he led the American League in strikeouts at the age of 23, which was the youngest American League strikeout leader since Frank Tanana with the Angels back in 1975.
That's one of the reasons he doesn't throw a lot of sliders, is because it stays away to right-handers and doesn't bite inside. Got away with one there. And there.
Ruiz takes a ball. Carlos is 0 for 1. Left the bases loaded. He and the Phillies did in the first. That's foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitcher Hamels on deck. Nothing on the ground on this wet night so far until now, and this one shoots on through. So out of the reach of the shortstop Bartlett and into left field for a 1-out single. And we remind you that 24 fans, your wait is almost over. Television's most addictive drama returns on November 23rd with an exciting 2-hour event. 24 Redemption, featuring the all-new Hyundai Genesis. 24 Redemption, November 23rd. Here is Cole Hamels, who is up there to bunt.
8 sacrifices on the year.
And that's a foul tip, and it may have hit his pitching hand.
Think it did. Under the bat, and it hit his, looked like his index finger, and we will certainly keep an eye on that. Fortunately, he had a batting glove on. That should take some of the sting off. Remember David Cohn back in 1987, hit by Atlee Hammaker and broke his pinky on his right hand.
This one is bunted back to Kazmir, throws to second for the out. Hamels is on with 2 out. The aggressive play by Scott Kazmir, and you could see the question, and then, well, you could see the answer. The question posed by Davey Lopes: do you want your coat? The answer would be yes, and now the batting glove comes off. And this ball, this pitch, caught all finger. I thought at first, Tim, it glanced off the bat, but that caught the index finger and part of the middle finger.
It appeared that it hit the knuckle instead of the tip, and that would be better for Hamels, one would think. But we'll have to wait until he gets back out there to throw the ball to see if there's any effect from being hit by that pitch.
So now Jimmy Rollins bats. He's 0 for 2. Runner at first is Hamels, 2 out. Kazmir trying to get around that hit by Ruiz. 1 ball, no strikes on Jimmy Rollins. 1-1. The Rays in the 5th inning will have the bottom 3 in their lineup: Baldelli, Bartlett, and then Kazmir. That's low. 2-1. The 2-1 pitch is in for strike 2. And this rain has put a damper on those towels and a lot of the noise that this crowd might be making if it were a more pleasant night. The 2-2 is up and away, full count, and Cole Hamels will go with the 3-2 pitch. Some of the towels pop out.
Good night for towels.
Runner goes, and Rollins fouls it back. Jimmy's put the ball in the air in his first 2 at bats. Fly to left and fly to right. Still twitching those fingers, and sure wondering what it'll be like once he grabs a baseball, as Rollins may have chased ball 4. Another foul ball.
Reason, by the way, and you might think, well, he was hit by the pitch, why not awarded first base? Well, he went after the pitch in the process. We think it hit part of the bat also.
3-2, runner goes, and ball 4 just inside to put 2 on with 2 out. 3rd walk handed out by Kazmir, and again a call that could have gone either way. Walk number 3, and here is Jason Worth with a chance. Singled his last time, walked and scored back in the 1st. Low for ball 1. Cole Hamels, the lead runner, out at second. One and one.
The tailing fastball just off the plate. Worth fouls it.
The 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. And a little trouble with the footing by Kazmir after letting that pitch go. On 2-1. Worth reaches for it, fouls it, strike 2. Jason Worth trying to reach base for the 3rd time tonight and come up with something good with a runner in scoring position. He has struggled in this type situation before. Good rip. And a good fastball from Kazmir. Still 2-2.
That was a 4-seam fastball. The ball's inside. The fastball's inside to right-handed batters or 4-seamers. And that ball tailing away where Kazmir got that first strike. That's a 2-seam fastball that goes away from a right-handed batter. And the grips right there to your left, a 4-seam fastball, and the 2-seam fastball to the right on top, and then the slider and the changeup. But an important distinction on those two fastballs. Inside to right-handed batters, four-seam, away a two-seam.
2-2 pitch again from Kazmir, and that's in the dirt. Another full count, a slider that skipped in there. And the runners will go from first and second on this 3-2 to Worth. This will be the 25th pitch of this inning from Kazmir. Runners go, and Worth pops it foul. That ball will get out of play.
Because of his arm problems, it seems that Scott Kazmir has been mastering a backup slider. Once again, he tries to throw that slider down into right-handers, but his elbow won't allow him to do that. So it stays up and away, flattens out. He was encouraged to throw that pitch more against the Boston Red Sox in Game 5 at Fenway Park. He did pitch 6 innings of scoreless ball, but his slider, even though he threw it, was more like it is tonight, the backup variety. Cement mixer, as the players call it.
Again, the 3-2. Again, a foul ball. Good at bat by Jason Worth. It will be at least a 10-pitch at bat with Kazmir. That loads him up. Worth on base for the 3rd time tonight, and that's 4 walks handed out by Kazmir, who will get a visit from Jim Hickey, his pitching coach. And again, still no action for the Rays in their bullpen, which has got to be in the category of a surprise considering the situation.
Yeah. It seemed to me that somebody in the bullpen should have been up in the first inning when the bases were loaded. Shane Victorino delivering the key hit, a 2-run single. But 2 walks, a hit batsman. And we'll see how Joe Madden plays it. So far, no one up.
David Price, the 23-year-old, is at least getting his body warm. But here is one of the big at-bats of the night to this point. Chase Utley with the bases loaded, 2 out. Hamels, Rollins, and Worth. A slider for strike 1.
That's the best slider of the night by Kazmir. This ball really bites low and away out of the strike zone.
Utley hit by a pitch his first time, scored a run, popped up his next. One ball, one strike. This is the 21st time this postseason that the Phillies have had the bases loaded. They've come up with only 4 hits to this point, and that one skips in, blocked by Navarro, ball 2.
Good play by Navarro. Nicely done.
3.
Slider stays up. He has got to get a fastball right here. Looking down and in, that's where his strength is.
Strike 2. And a borderline pitch. This time Kazmir gets the call. Right on the inside edge, full count. Grant Balfour is going to hurry to get loose. To the right side, Iwamura, who booted 2 balls last night, makes the play. And after all that, a hit and 2 walks, no damage, still 2-1 after 4. Back after this from your local Fox station. Cole Hamels is back to the hill. Rocco Baldelli, Jason Bartlett, Scott Kazmir, bottom 3 in the lineup for the Rays. Rain continues to fall here in Philadelphia on a cold night, just above 40. And the first pitch from Hamels misses for ball 1. We had a chance to visit with Rich Doobie, Cole's pitching coach, during the break. Hamels hit on that pitching hand in the bottom of the 4th. They did discuss it briefly, and then we discussed it with Rich Doobie. Play that for you. Here is a 2-0 pitch to Baldelli, and he gets under it. Trying to launch one, and it's Jimmy Rollins trying to fight the wind and can't make the play. Baldelli is on at first to start the inning, dealing with the rain, with the wind on this cold night, and that's the start of the 5th.
Rollins laying back on the ball and then coming forward and then tries the basket catch. Looked like it hit him in the left wrist. As the elements are worsening.
We'll see what that leads to here in the 5th inning as Bartlett stands in. Doesn't appear that anything is wrong with the pitching stuff for that pitching hand of Hamels as he hits the inside corner, strike 1. That's an error on Jimmy Rollins, his 2nd of this postseason. Made just 7 during the regular season. Tying run at first, nobody out here in the 5th. Nothing in 2.
After the defense of the Phillies saw what happened to Rollins, they are hopeful that more balls will be hit on the ground by the Rays. Rays thinking the same thing.
The 0-2 now to Bartlett. Shattered bat, ground ball to the second baseman. Oddly, what a play for the double play. A tag and a throw, 2 out.
A tag and a spin. Boy, that was just brilliantly turned by Utley. Ooh, did he tag him? I think he did. I think he may have gotten his foot and the wherewithal to complete the play. There, right there.
Back of the left leg, and then the spin, the flip, and they got Bartlett by a step. Now Kazmir, strike 1.
Well, the Philly infield got the ground ball for 2 outs.
Kazmir struck out his first time. What a good swing that was, but the count's 0-2. Kazmir 0 for 2 swinging the bat during the regular season, and he shows that he takes a pretty healthy cut. Kazmir strikes out for the 2nd time. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Phillies will bat up by 1. Philadelphia Phillies trying to wrap up their second World Championship here tonight and trying to avoid a trip to Florida. The weather is just awful. It's cold, it's windy, it's raining, and it's raining harder the deeper we get into this game. And Ryan Howard is first up for the Phillies, up 2-1 here in Game 5.
All of a sudden, a domed stadium does not seem like a bad idea.
Grant Balfour continues to get loose, and now Joe Maddon does have help getting ready in case something pops up here in the way of a threat for the Phillies in the 5th. Howard has struck out twice. Kazmir's come right after him. He skips a slider in there, ball 1. That is a slider a little high, 2-0. Last 2 games for Howard coming in, 4 for 8, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. Tonight, however, 0 for 2. 3 sliders now in a row, and it's 3-0. They have Burrell on deck. Kazmir doesn't get Howard. And we'll find out now. That could be it for his night. Let's go down for a weather report with Chris Myers. Chris?
Joe, I just spoke with the head groundskeeper, Mike Burkhalter, just before this inning started. He walked out, checked the field. The forecast, 1/10 of an inch of rain per hour, and he says this field can hold that all night. However, the forecast will dip, and with the wind chill, it'll be into the 30s. He doesn't think, according to the forecast, this could stay all night, but it should not worsen. And I got to sit down. I'm blocking somebody's view here, I think, with the umbrella.
Okay. All right, Chris. Well, even though this field can take it, you look behind third base, you look behind first base down the lines, and you can see water starting to gather a little bit and collect. And we talked about this on Saturday night, if you were with us, a game that started after 10 o'clock Eastern. This is a sand-based field. It holds and drains the water extremely well. Kazmir will pitch after that walk to Howard and deal with Pat Burrell and find the strike zone. 0-1. So now 40 degrees. The 0-1 to Burrell. Up and away, a ball and a strike, and Joe Maddon, Tim, is, even after that leadoff walk, that's the 5th walk handed out by Scott Kazmir, who is involved in a 1-run game, 2-1. He's going down the line here in this 5th inning. He could have made a case to bring in the right-hander to pitch to Pat Burrell.
Yep, a guy who features high fastballs to a low ball hitter.
Now Kazmir falls behind, 2-1.
You wonder if the condition of the mound had something to do with Kazmir throwing 6 of 7 balls to open the 5th inning.
Now Jim Hickey is going to go out and talk.
And I would imagine Jim will ask him that. And then if that is the case, if the footing is too bad, handing him something to get the mud out of his spikes. And if the footing is too bad, I would imagine the home plate umpire would take care of that by putting that turfus down on the mound.
You can see Longoria in the background.
Yeah.
Going into that area that we can see a little better, as opposed to that camera shot we had earlier where it's at least slick.
Yeah.
Beyond the third base bag, and some of the water is starting to collect in that area where Longoria is digging at the dirt. And a rather long meeting now with Jim Hickey, Carlos Pena, and Deano Navarro talking to Kazmir. Already 97 pitches. Runner at first, Howard. Nobody out. 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Victorino is a switch hitter on deck. That missed. I guess low, and the count's full 3-2.
It had to miss low because it appeared to be over the middle of the plate. Well, that's a good very
pitch.
Close fastball right there. Called the low, I suppose, by Jeff Kellogg.
A good pitch, and Kazmir again doesn't get the call. Now a 3-2 to Burrell. Fouled down to the end of the dugout. The Rays were frustrated last night with the strike zone of Tom Hallion, and tonight, no doubt, frustrated with the strike zone of Jeff Kellogg. Runner at first, Howard, nobody out, and Burrell pops it foul out of play. .31 players have had 10 or more at bats without a hit. Pat Burrell is 0 for 13. Both Pena and Longoria finally broke through tonight with back-to-back hits in the fourth. Longoria had started 0 for 17 and Pena 0 for 14. (3-2). Just past 10 o'clock here in the East. Shane Victorino with a 2-out, 2-run single with the bases loaded back in the first, and Pena and Longoria started 0 for 31. 2 for 2 since. Now the 3-2 again to Burrell is low, ball 4. A 92-mile-an-hour fastball is called ball 4, and that is it for Kazmir, and that pitch didn't miss by much.
Well, we saw the 2-2 fastball call the ball down. Where was the 3-2 fastball? Actually, a sequence, the 2 sliders, and now the 2-0 pitch connects. Pat Burrell fouls off a bunch of pitches, and that was the pitch on a 3-2 count. So 2 low fastballs. Kazmir does not get the calls on either one.
Back-to-back walks to start the 5th. Kazmir is pulled from the game. The World Series on Fox is sponsored by Chevy Traverse. It's everything you've ever wished for and then some. Scott Kazmir has issued the most walks in a World Series game since '97. Livan Hernandez in Game 5 of the eventual champion Florida Marlins. And Kazmir's down there shaking his head earlier, scratching his head. And in my opinion, he has every reason to be disappointed with the strike zone tonight. A couple of low pitches, but looked like in the bottom of the strike zone that were called ball 3, then ball 4 against Burrell. Really not only here in the 5th, but back in the first inning, which led to the first 2 runs. And we did some lip reading, and you could see Kazmir say, I guess low. And I think Joe Madden is going to go out and make sure that Balfour has a good mound to work with. During the break, during the pitching change, the grounds crew came out and they've worked on every part of this field except the mound, and now they're going to go to work on that. So we're in basically a delay here because those areas on the infield dirt they've worked on to put that turfus, that mixture that they apply to try to soak up the water, and now they're going to do it to the mound. And Joe Madden wanted to make sure that Balfour was taken care of, and the home plate umpire is Jeff Kellogg, wearing the mic, talking moments ago to Grant Balfour.
How's the mound? We can get him here right now if you need it. warm it up. I don't know. Okay, all right, just let me know.
So there's the conversation between Grant Balfour, who just came into the game, and the home plate umpire, Jeff Kellogg. We welcome you into the broadcast booth, and typically we have a very good seat, very good angle. You could say that the seats down low are the best seats in the house, but not tonight. It's a nasty night weather-wise. And how about Kazmir? They went along with him. Kazmir ends up walking 6 as he gets into the 5th inning, and now he leaves what could be a mess for Grant Balfour to try and clean up.
Well, Pat Burrell has been the beneficiary of some low balls in the strike zone, and the 2-2 pitch and 3-2 pitch we thought were strikes. And as you said, Scott Kazmir in the first inning was squeezed by home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg.
So you look at Balfour, who's getting loose while he takes his warm-ups. We're going to take a quick break here in the bottom of the 5th. 2 on, nobody out when we come back with Balfour on the mound.
Wishes can come true. Daniel met the LA Angels with his cousin Sammy, right?
Make-A-Wish Foundation grants a wish every 40 minutes.
To children with life-threatening medical conditions.
I wanted to go to Wrigley Field.
Fox Sports Supports invites you to join our team and support Make-A-Wish Foundation.
There are lots of ways to help, from making a donation to volunteering.
Together, we can bring joy and magic to children who really need both.
Make-A-Wish. Please go to wish.org.
Balfour is set to go, and here are the numbers this postseason for Grant. He's at times closed games. He's very animated on the mound. Australian-born right-hander, and his teammates ask him to come up with some outs here, with Victorino coming up. He'll be followed by Pedro Feliz, Carlos Ruiz, with runners on at 1st and 2nd, and nobody out here in the 5th.
I do not think Charlie Manuel will bunt with Victorino right here, because you have the bottom part of the order trailing him, and you have slow runners on the bases, Ryan Howard and Pat Burrell. But it looks like the Rays are squeezed and pinched at the corners, with Longoria in and Pena in, perhaps looking for the bunt. Remember the playing conditions. If the ball is put down, very, very wet.
Top of that, Victorino's come up with big hits this entire postseason for the Phillies, and his 13 RBIs, as you see, a record for the Phillies in a single postseason. So Balfour set to go.
11 of those 13 RBIs with 2 outs.
He does bunt, and he bunts it foul, strike 1. Biggest hit of the night so far came off Victorino's bat in the 1st. Bases loaded, 2 out. High delivery from Kazmir and a 2-run single. Rays got a run in their half of the 4th. A 1-out double by Pena, and then Evan Longoria broke through with his first hit for the RBI. And a pop-up out behind short, shallow left. In to get it is Crawford. 2 on, 1 out. And Victorino does not advance the runners. Pedro Feliz will be the hitter. You know, the issue with runners in scoring position is still there for the Phillies. Last night it was better, 4 for 14. After going 2 for 33 with runners in scoring position going into game 4. But at the start of the night, just 6 for 47, a 128 average, and tonight they left the bases loaded in the 1st inning when Ruiz flied out to left, and now they have a chance here. 2 on, 1 out, and here's a shot foul.
Well, the weather has certainly taken the routine part of the game out of the game. Ground balls are not going to be routine. Even pop flies are not going to be routine.
Charlie Manuel even ducks under cover here. Usually he's up in the front there. His arms up on that screen in front of the dugout. 2 quick strikes on Phillies, who's had 2 pretty good swings. It's 0-2. So 7 runners left on already tonight. Phillies stranded 8 all of last night as they scored 10. Phillies fouls one back here. Another good swing by Pedro.
That ball eye high.
I'll say this. It can't get much worse than this.
No.
And have them continue to play baseball.
No.
It is an official game, however. Phillies pops it up. And again, it's no easy task. Pena wants it, has it. 2 out.
I did not see Tim Tschida call an infield fly rule.
I didn't either. I was looking for it and I didn't see it.
I mean, normally an infield fly rule is put into effect there, but Tim Tschida, realizing the conditions, probably thinking, you know, no infield fly rules tonight because of what happened to Jimmy Rollins.
If he did, it was like a small fair catch signal that we couldn't detect. But either way, Pena made the catch, and Joe Maddon saying, what's the deal? Where's the infield fly rule? And this umpiring crew did not call for it.
No.
Now it's Ruiz, as Balfour is 2/3 of the way through this bottom of the 5th. Came on with 2 on, nobody out. And he gets strike 1 on Ruiz here. That's a line drive foul. Tell you what, they didn't call the infield fly rule. It would have been very interesting had that ball dropped.
Or had he dropped it intentionally.
Yeah.
Because then you may get a double play out of it.
Then you would have had an argument from the Philadelphia side.
Right. Because the infield fly rule is designed to protect the offense.
Here's the 0-2. Ruiz pops it up. And again, it's Pena. He's 2 for 2 in catching pop-ups on a tough night. What a good job by Balfour. Keeps it 2-1 as we go to inning number 6 in Game 5. TV, if you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. We continue in the rain and the cold and the wind. 6th inning of Game 5. Joe Maddon went out to talk to the home plate umpire about, I believe, Tim Tschida not calling the infield fly rule. And just to clarify or explain what the infield fly rule is, runners on at 1st and 2nd, or 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, less than 2 out, and a ball hit on the infield in the air. The umpires call the infield fly rule. The batter is out and the runners can advance at their own risk. But there's one caveat in there, and that is with ordinary effort. And because the fielder, in this case Pena, his feet were moving around fighting the wind, if you want to take that into consideration, say it's not ordinary effort, we could have a night here where the infield fly rule is in effect thrown out the window. Ken Rosenthal, a lot's been said about this umpiring crew so far during this World Series. There have been some missed calls. There have been articles written about it. And there are some interesting rules for umpires and the assignments during the postseason.
Right. Those rules, Joe, are according to the umpires' collective bargaining agreement. One, an umpire cannot work back-to-back series in the postseason. And that rule exists just to prevent the mental wear and tear, the physical wear and tear from an umpire in 2 straight series. The other rule, the more questionable rule, is the one that prohibits umpires from working in back-to-back World Series. Now think about that. A player or a team can go to back-to-back World Series, but an umpire cannot. The reason for that is because the umpires wanted to create more opportunities for umps to work in the game's showcase event. Now this CBA, the umpires agreement, expires after next season. It will be very interesting to see if Major League Baseball seeks an adjustment.
Yeah, I think it's worth talking about. And then when you look back through this World Series, we've seen a number of instances of calls that, here was the first one, game 1, the no balk call against Cole Hamels, a big play. Rays thought it should have been a balk. Then Kerwin Danley seemingly ringing up Rocco Baldelli, but then appealing at the end of that. And Baldelli went down to first on a check swing, ball 4. The play on the flip by Moyer, and then this play by Evan Longoria clearly tagging Jimmy Rollins on the backside. That was last night in the first inning. He was called safe, and then what followed was a bases loaded walk to give Philadelphia a 1-0 lead in the first inning. So now this group is having to umpire on a rough night conditions-wise here in Game 5 in Philadelphia. We'll take a break while they continue to work on the field here in Philly.
Ode to the Subway Big Philly Cheesesteak by Ryan Howard. I step to the plate and what do I see? Big Philly Cheesesteak staring down me. Tender grilled steak, melted cheese high, saying slugger, give it a ride. Digging my cleats, take a bite. Oh, the flavor soars out of sight. Big Philly Cheesesteak puts burgers to shame, but ought to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Subway, eat fresh.
The World Series on Fox is sponsored by Verizon Wireless. Get sports clips, scores, stats, and more right on your Verizon Wireless phone. Tim, this will be obviously a long night for anybody involved in this game. That includes the grounds crew. And it makes me think of the job that was done by the police officers yesterday in this area, and those who are involved with security, with all of the events that were going on during the course of really late Saturday into Sunday, whether it was the Eagles game, the Who concert, Game 4 of this World Series. What a tremendous job law enforcement has done here in Philadelphia to make sure that everybody's safe going to and from and while inside these venues here in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia's finest did their finest.
This has been a long layoff for Cole Hamels. Not only, I mean, think about it. He's been standing out there while they've worked on the field on the heels of the 2 walks, the pitching change. They worked on the field in the bottom of the 5th inning. And now here in the top of the 6th, we'll see how he gets along. And he was hit by a pitch trying to bunt back in the 4th. He misses high, ball 1.
4 innings left, and you just cannot help but think that the elements are going to have something to do with the outcome of this game.
30 minutes between pitches in the game by Hamels. He did warm up, but as far as in-game pitches, 30 minutes between pitches that count for Cole Hamels. Here's a 1-1. That skips in. Hamels dealing with the top of the lineup, and the Rays batting down by 1 run as they try to extend this World Series by winning Game 5. Strike 2 on Iwamura. Outside corner on a wide strike, and Iwamura shakes his head as he walks back. And I think it's fair to say that there has been inconsistency with the strike zone behind the plate tonight.
Well, Scott Kazmir probably thinking, if that was a strike, why was it the one to Burrell, or the ones to Burrell, a strike?
If it tells you anything, it's that Jeff Kellogg is giving side to side off the plate, but not much
up and down. Yeah, up and down, right.
3 strikeouts now for Cole Hamels, as Carl Crawford up in the number 2 spot, 0 for 2. Chops one to first. Good play by Howard for out number 2. So now with 2 out, nobody on, Cole Hamels will deal with B.J. Upton. Upton takes a strike. Top of the order so far, just 1 single tonight. That's down and away.
If you're Cole Hamels, you try to stay away from Upton. Lightning quick on balls inside, and a 1-run ball game, so you really can't chance it.
A 1-1. Ball 2. Typically, once the game starts, whether you play or not, or they pull the tarp on the field, is in the hands of the umpires. But obviously, the hierarchy of baseball is here, including the commissioner Bud Selig and Tim Brosnan, Bob Dupay, right on down the line. So you would think it would be a group decision as to what they do as they continue to check the radar and figure out if this weather's going to improve at all or get worse. The 2-1 to B.J. Upton. 2-2. Again, this is an official game. The 2-2. Upton grounds one to the left of Rollins. Can't make a play. Wouldn't have had a play anyway with the speed of B.J. Upton. And the top of the 6th inning continues on a 2-out hit by the Rays center fielder.
Now you have to wonder whether Upton's going to run or not, or whether the infield is in such bad shape that it will not prevent him from running.
And that's such a good point, because that's the Rays game. That's why they made the changes. That's what they do. They let baseball and stolen bases. They're in a 1-run game, but I don't see how there's any way you can go try and steal a base with the kind of footing we're looking at between first and second.
Right.
I mean, that is, how could you even slide into that?
That's right.
I mean, it's one thing to continue playing, and you could make a strong argument that you don't want to stop play with a guy like Cole Hamels on the mound. It's a good game, 2-1. But the conditions on the playing field right now, especially on the infield, don't lead to very good baseball.
Yeah, and when it robs a team of its talent, what got them here, like the speed of Upton.
If I'm Joe Madden, I'm starting to think about going out and saying that this is an unplayable field, because it completely shuts down their running game, which is one of their biggest weapons and a reason why they're in the World Series. The problem is, if you pull the curtain on this thing now in the 6th, it's an official game. Be careful what you wish for. You may never start play again.
That's right.
But that is a sloppy track, to say the least. A 2-out hit by B.J. Upton, and Pena, who narrowly missed a home run his last time up. With the wind whipping out toward right, at least left to right, waits for the first pitch and another throw over. Hamels could throw over enough where Upton would need a boat to get down to second base.
Hydroplaning has been introduced to baseball. Meanwhile, Upton with his hands in his belt.
There he goes, got a great jump, and the throw by Ruiz too late. That was Upton just looking at Hamels. He had 3 or 4 steps before Hamels even thought about getting the ball to the plate.
And he indeed hydroplanes into second base. 4th stolen base of the World Series for Upton.
Now a base hit can tie it. And the Rays need it from Carlos Pena, who's 1 for 2. Two out in the inning, and Cole Hamels is now bothered by Upton out at second base. Pena during the regular season hit .247, hit 31 home runs, drove home 102. 9 RBIs this postseason. A big one is sitting out there for him now. Inside and low for a ball. On deck is Longoria. .39 degrees here in Philadelphia. Joe Madden was asking what the count was to the home plate umpire. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Now 2-1. And the frustration continues to mount in that dugout. I think they thought it was at the very worst 1-0, and you can see the lips, read the lips of Jim Hickey saying, I don't even think he called a strike. But it's 2-1.
Unless he called it on a stolen base. And they were complaining about that.
Pena up on the count, 2-1. Two and two. And I don't know how a crowd this soaked can make this much noise.
Advantage pitchers. The bats are wet and the balls aren't.
Line drives a base hit into left. Here comes Upton to the plate. Throw home by Burrell. This game is tied. Carlos Pena delivers with 2 out in the 6th. They've been waiting for Pena to find his stroke, and here tonight in Game 5, he's found it.
A double to score a run, and now a single to tie it. Routine for Tom Foley, the third base coach, because of Upton's speed and the conditions.
Upton almost hydroplaned right past the plate.
Yeah.
He got it with that left ankle, it looked like, and Longoria takes the ball down and in. Have to tiptoe around the bag to get to the plate, and it was rather close.
Under the worst of conditions, the Rays tie it.
Got it with his left hand going by if the foot didn't graze the plate. Now Longoria out in front of a changeup. It gets away from Ruiz, and down to second is Pena. Now a base hit by Longoria, who already has an RBI hit, could put the Rays on top in the 6th.
This ball did not hit the dirt. Ruiz tries to backhand it. It should be a pass ball. That ball should have been handled, but squirts away from Carlos Ruiz.
Pass ball by Ruiz. 2 out in the inning. Longoria in the air to center field. Victorino is there to end the inning. The Rays have tied it as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Well, here's the scene now. They're pulling the tarp onto the field before the bottom of the 6th inning. So we're officially in a rain delay, and we go down to the field and join Chris Myers. Chris?
I'm with Bob Dupay and Chief Operating Officer, President for Major League Baseball. Tarp coming on the field. Tell us about the decision.
Yeah, Chris, obviously the conditions had deteriorated, and the grounds crew has done a phenomenal job trying to keep the game going. But with all the puddling and the wetness, the commissioner and the crew chief, Tim Welke, decided that the playing conditions were such that we ought to call time and put the tarp on the field.
So if the game were not tied, would you have this delay?
Oh, I think so. I think it had gotten to the point where we were going to have a delay. And as you know, with a tie game, with the Phillies not having bat in the bottom of the 6th, what would happen now if we didn't play is it would be a suspended game, and it would resume whenever we were able to resume, even if it had to be tomorrow or Wednesday.
And have you looked at the weather for tomorrow?
The weather for tomorrow is supposed to be worse. I mean, it's supposed to be colder, and it's supposed to continue to rain and be very windy. So we wanted to play tonight for that reason. We hoped we were going to be able to play tonight, and right now we're not optimistic.
And if it were called at this point, would we continue, or would we start all over with these stats?
No, you would continue. This would be a suspended game. It's tied with more than 5 innings in, and so it would be a suspended game, and it would be picked up here in the bottom of the 6th.
All right, but the hope is to try to continue this game tonight.
If it stops or lets up in such a fashion that we can, we'll finish the game tonight.
And is radar indicating one thing?
Radar's not good. I mean, it shows this type of rain going on, well into the morning.
All right, Bob, thanks very much. All right.
Okay, Chris, thank you.
Baseball, you don't let the grounds crew get through. Go back up to you, Joe.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on here. There are a lot of things going on here, and what's important to note is what happened in the top of the 6th inning. And it wasn't discussed down there. Good interview with Chris Myers and Bob Dupay. That run driven in with 2 outs saves, in essence, the Tampa Bay Rays from what could be the end of the World Series if this happened and they hadn't scored that tying run and they can't resume play. The World Series is over.
Yeah, very unusual and embarrassing, really, because of the elements. And by scoring that run, it kind of takes Major League Baseball off the hook.
It was a rule that was adopted in 2007 where now it becomes a suspended game since the Tampa Bay Rays scored the run. In the past, they would have wiped that run away, and it would have been game over, series over. If they don't score and they can't resume, game over, series over. And now you're in a suspended game situation, and so all we really are doing now is waiting out the weather, which thankfully you want to have a full game here in Game 5 to see who wins or loses and if this World Series plays on to Florida.
And I don't see how they can continue. I mean, the tarp's on, but the ground is in such bad condition that it's hard to believe that even if the weather lets up and they do find a window, an hour and 15 minutes, that the game can be resumed.
Yeah, because under that tarp, as we've seen, and as Bob Dupay said, the grounds crew has done everything they can. They've been spreading that dust around for the last couple of innings, but it is to the point where right now under that tarp, it's an unplayable infield.
That's right. That's right.
So that's really where we are here in the bottom of the 6th inning, or at least starting at the bottom of the 6th inning. And now you look at the forecast for tomorrow. Rain all day, temperatures in the mid-30s at night. So it's going to be another nasty day. You would think that this delay, however long it is, wipes Cole Hamels off the books. And you're talking about a battle of the bullpens here in the rest of Game 5, which is very importantly tied by Carlos Pena with that 2-out hit. B.J. Upton scoring just ahead of the throw by Burrell. And with that tie, it's a 2-2 game, and everybody's off the hook with this bad weather. Victorino got the scoring started in the first inning with a 2-out, 2-run single. And then Longoria finally broke through with his first hit. An RBI base hit made it 2-1. Pena scored, and then Carlos Pena with one of the biggest swings that we've seen in a long time, with a base hit the opposite way to tie this game. All of the action with 2 out in the inning, a stolen base a big part of it, bad field and all. And so before the bottom of the 6th inning, we are tied 2-2. And while we are delayed, we are going to send you to local news or local programming, depending where you are across the country. So it is a 2-2 game Game 5 of this World Series. Phillies up 3-1. We're waiting the start of the bottom of the 6th inning, and it may be a while. So long for a moment. The World Series on Fox is brought to you by Bud Light. The difference is drinkability. Once again, the score as we await the bottom of the 6th inning. I'm telling you, the rain, now it's obvious how much the weather dampened the spirits here in Philadelphia, because these fans could not be more revved up for the resumption of game number 5. And Grant Balfour is walking in from the bullpen, and this is a Philadelphia Phillies team that will be supported very well here at home tonight, as the hometown fans hope the World Series ends here in Philadelphia before a potential game 6 tomorrow night. Let's go down for our first on-field report and check in with Chris Myers. Chris?
Well, Joe, we just saw Jim Hickey, pitching coach for the Rays, walk by as the team gets ready to hit the field. He told me that the cool temperatures will affect the grip of his pitchers. Certainly guys who throw hard like Balfour or Lidge, not as much as a field guy like J.P. Howell. The umpire will allow them to go to their mouth during the game to get their hands warm. Also, he said that an old trick he learned, have them dip their fingers in rubbing alcohol, which is legal in between innings, and then touch the rosin bag. It'll help with the tackiness and grip on the ball, and that'll last for about an inning. He thinks it could help in these cooler temperatures. The Rays want to get a grip on this series. Let's check in on the other side with Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Chris. Ryan Madson, the Phillies' first pitcher, says this experience is going to be weird. Relievers are accustomed to sitting in the bullpen in the early innings, talking amongst themselves, getting a feel for the game. Well, Madson says he plans to follow his normal routine. He went out to the bullpen with the other relievers, and he says he told Charlie Manuel, just ring the phone.
Yeah, these guys are creatures of habit. So even though Madson knows that he's coming in, they're still going to call down and say, get Madson up. And it's just got an odd feel. I mean, we've been preparing for this game, whether you're preparing for the broadcast or these players are taking batting practice or the managers are meeting with the media. All of this is in essence going on during game number 5 in the 6th inning of this World Series. And because of the fact that we're starting the bottom of the 6th inning, it's the home team that gets to hit first, and in essence they get 12 offensive outs to play with, while the other team, the Tampa Bay Rays, get only 9.
I think it's very interesting that the Rays do not have a left-handed pitcher warming up. Perhaps how, because that could thwart the use of a pinch hitter by Charlie Manuel here in the 6th inning. His best left-handed pinch hitters, Greg Dobbs, and then the pinch hitter with the most power, Matt Stairs. So we'll see.
So Grant Balfour is back to the mound. He had to take over for Scott Kazmir 2 nights ago in the 5th inning, and what a job he did. It's what he's done during the postseason. He came in with 2 on and nobody out. He got out of that by getting Victorino on a fly ball to left, and then 2 pop-ups that were handled very well on not easy plays by Carlos Pena with the rain and the wind and the footing that he had to deal with. And in case you're wondering, Grant Balfour has a 120 average against when lefties hit against him. And in their careers, as you see Jeff Jenkins already set to go, Jenkins will have his first at bat against Balfour. Dobbs has drawn a walk in his only plate appearance, and Matt Stairs is 0 for 4 against Balfour. So the decision has been made. It is Jeff Jenkins, and David Price, because he is typically a starter and it's a cold night, will at some point here start to loosen up in anticipation of maybe coming on in the 7th inning.
Joe Madden, there's Ryan Madson. He will be the pitcher for the Phillies in the top of the 7th inning. And Joe Madden telling us that it is very important to get a 1-2-3 inning. And if that happens, maybe David Price will open the bottom of the 7th inning to work against Chase Utley and Ryan Howard.
So while Balfour prepares for the 9, 1, and 2 hitters, which we now know are Jenkins, Rollins, and Worth. The reason it's important for the Rays for Balfour to go 3 up, 3 down as Price does start to loosen, but that's not for this 6th inning. He would start an inning fresh, you would think. But because Balfour has Utley due up 4th in this inning, if anything starts to brew for the Phillies, maybe it's Price, maybe it's J.P. Howell, somebody else in a situation where Utley can beat you. So here we go. Basically 46 hours after they pulled the tarp on the field here on Monday night. Ball 1 to Jenkins. Jeff Jenkins just 0 for 3 during this postseason. Trying to launch, and he came up empty on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, this is not a good matchup because Jeff Jenkins is a very good low ball hitter. He has an uppercut swing, and usually if you can get it 94, 95 above the waist.
There's 96 at the knees, and strike 2. Balfour threw 9 pitches on Monday night, all strikes, to get his 3 outs. And again, he came on with 2 on and nobody out in a tie game. On 1 and 2, Jenkins takes outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Actually, Balfour came in bottom of the 5th, and then that 2-out rain-soaked hit by Pena scored B.J. Upton. 2-2. Balfour out there ready to go, and they pulled the tarp. Full count.
On a walk, this place will erupt.
Jenkins hits it in the air to right center field at the wall. Extra bases for Jenkins to start the inning. He thought about 3. He'll hold with a double.
On a double, it'll be louder. Balfour getting the fastball down, and that uppercut swing, and Jeff Jenkins with his first hit of the series, and is it ever a big one?
First hit of this postseason. Now it's Rollins.
Now you may see a bunt.
And the bunt is perfect. Out at first. Over to third is the go-ahead run with 1 out.
Watch Balfour hit the deck. Bunted to Longoria, and Balfour getting down to make sure Longoria has a clear path to Pena at first.
And so now Jason Worth with the infield in comes to the plate. On deck is Utley with action in the bullpen with J.P. Howell.
Very rare you see 2 left-handers warming in the bullpen at the same time, but that's the case for the Rays.
Close to 1,300 career hits for Jeff Jenkins, none bigger than the leadoff double as a pinch hitter to start the bottom of the 6th inning of Game 5 of the World Series, and he's the go-ahead run at third with 1 out. 2-0. And now Carlos Pena in to grab for the rosin bag and say something to Balfour before he heads back to first. Two and one.
One thing Balfour does get with a runner on at third base and less than 2 outs, he gets a lot of pop-ups because he throws so hard. If he can keep the fastball up, I think that's the way he's going to test Jason Worth with high fastballs.
.95 in on the hands. It's 2-2. Charlie Manuel pulled the right string when he sent Jeff Jenkins up to start this inning. He's at third now with 1 out. Worth, a shallow fly ball into center. Iwamura can't make the play, and the Phillies take the lead.
He did get the pop-up, but the infield was in, making this a difficult play. Look in the lower left-hand side of your screen. That's why Jeff Jenkins did not tag up at third, but went halfway. And when Iwamura dropped the ball, Jenkins scores to break the tie.
Jason Worth drops one into center. It's an RBI base hit, and the Phillies have regained the lead. Howell coming in, Utley coming up. The reaction from Grant Balfour. After waiting 46 hours to resume game number 5 in the bottom of the 6th, gave a leadoff double to Jeff Jenkins, his first ever postseason hit. After the bunt by Rollins, the base hit to shallow center off the bat of Worth. Now Worth is on at first with 1 out, and Chase Utley is at the plate dealing with J.P. Howell. In case you're wondering, 3 stolen bases this postseason for Worth, 2 in this World Series, and he was 20 of 21 during the regular season at stealing second. And now Dan Wheeler gets loose. Strike 1 outside corner. On deck is Ryan Howard. Ryan Madsen is getting loose for the top of the 7th. I think it's worth bringing up why Grant Balfour went back out there and why it's J.P. Howell here in the 6th inning and not David Price. With first the 0-1 pitch to Chase Utley. On the outside corner again, 0-2. Balfour had time to recover after working the 1 inning, the bottom of the 5th inning on Monday night. He's one of the Rays' best short relievers. And as far as the batting order for the Rays in the top of the 7th, the pitcher spot is due up 4th. So Joe Maddon wants to clear that hurdle As you look at the top 4 spots, it starts with the 6th batter, Navarro, before David Price would come into the game. That's why it's Howell here for the rest of this 6th. And not somebody like Price, who then theoretically he may have to lift with regard to the situation for a pinch hitter.
It's as though the Tampa Bay Rays have been penalized because they're playing in a National League park. If this were back in Tampa Bay, it would be an easy choice. David Price may have started the bottom of the 6th inning, because the pitcher spot, of course, does not hit. You use the DH there.
Here's an 0-2 pitch to Utley. 1 on, 1 out. And 3 pitches and a strikeout for J.P. Howell. He's been doing that all year long. 2 out.
Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, says that he has been the most valuable pitcher, getting the biggest outs of the year, and a curveball gets Utley.
Now it's Ryan Howard, who struck out twice and walked against Scott Kazmir. So far in this World Series, 6 out of 19, 3 homers, 6 RBIs. Rather, Worth took off too soon, and he steals second. Howell threw to first, and Worth takes second. He's there with 2 out.
J.P. Howell was too deliberate when he brought the right leg up. He brought the right leg up, and Worth, with a little stutter step, took off and steals second base. His 4th stolen base of the postseason. He started to stop, and then a wild throw, a wide throw by Pena, started to stop right there. Pena did what he could, but the throw wasn't that good. The throw to the 3rd base side, and that allows Utley, or Worth, to slide into second safely.
So Worth is out there in scoring position. 2 out for Ryan Howard. And Howard pops it up. Shallow left. The rookie Longoria hauls it in. Jeff Jenkins and Grant Balfour were teammates last year with the Brewers. They hook up here in the World Series. Jenkins led off with a double, scores the go-ahead run. Back after this from your local Fox station. Because the Phillies just got that run in the bottom of the 6th inning, Cole Hamels can still be the winner if the Phillies hang on, and no pitcher has started and won 5 games in a single postseason. So he's trying to stay perfect in the postseason, and eventually so will Brad Lidge. But right now it's Ryan Madson against Navarro. And a tailing fastball jumps in for strike 1.
What about those staggering numbers for Ryan Madson? Since August 31st, look at that, 29 strikeouts and 2 walks. Only 3 earned runs.
Here's the 0-1. Strike 2. That's the Madson changeup. And the Phillies have it all sitting out there in front of them now, with Madson on the mound and a very well-rested Brad Lidge ready to come in whenever Charlie Manuel needs him, even in the 8th. The 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now J.C. Romero, the hard-throwing left-hander, gets loose. Navarro strikes out.
Right in under the hands of Deanna Navarro. A fastball right on the inside corner.
Here's Rocco Baldelli. 0 for 2 tonight, and whoever Joe Maddon has put in his lineup in that right field spot, as Baldelli hits one into left. Back is Burrell, and Baldelli has tied it. Rocco Baldelli has gone deep. It's 3-3 in the top of the 7th. As Baldelli gets his first World Series hit and his second postseason home run.
How about that? Going up and looking for a fastball, and this ball tailing back over the inside part of the plate. In the late innings, it's better, generally speaking, to stay away from hitters. If they're going to hit a home run, make them go the other way. But that ball tailing back over the plate, and Baldelli took care of the rest.
And he stopped me mid-sentence, as I was about to say, the Rays right fielders have combined to go 1 for 13 during this World Series, and now that home run production from Rocco Baldelli. It's a 3-3 game. Hits are even at 6 apiece, and a fastball for a strike. Now David Price is getting ready in earnest here in the top of the 7th, with an eye on the bottom of the 7th inning, and Cole Hamels cannot be the winner here in Game 5. Now a base hit into left off the bat of Jason Bartlett, and the go-ahead run is on, as the Rays are getting good swings now against Ryan Madson. That was the first home run allowed by Ryan Madson since August 28th. The ball that Rocco Baldelli hit into left. And Tim, you and I were watching during batting practice, and guys were scorching balls out to left right into the teeth of this wind, and they weren't going anywhere.
No, the thing about Baldelli, he kept the ball down under the wind. Howell up there to bunt right now.
So they get to keep J.P. Howell in the game. Pat Burrell is the leadoff hitter in the bottom of the 7th, and that's a matchup that, according to Joe Maddon, is favorable for the Tampa Bay Rays. And again, David Price is, at least was getting loose, and now when you look back there, he's put his coat back on.
You're talking to the players of the Phillies and talking about hitting in this ballpark. The name of the ballpark is Citizens Bank Park. If you hit the ball below the Citizens Bank Park sign in the left field, you keep it out of the wind, and that's what Baldelli did.
Howell getting the bunt down. The play is at first for out number 2. The sacrifice is good off the bat of J.P. Howell, and Madsen fed Utley over at the bag.
Keep it under that sign, and the ball carries very well regardless of how the wind is blowing.
And now with Iwamura coming up, Charlie Manuel is going to go out and take the ball from Ryan Madsen. So one of the big late inning weapons for the Philadelphia Phillies is gone. Ryan Madsen is out of this game after going just 2/3 of an inning, and he'll give way to J.C. Romero with a go-ahead run at second, 2 out here in the 7th inning of Game 5, and Iwamura coming up. If you are just joining us in this World Series, not just tonight, we talked about the story with Rocco Baldelli, who the first 4+ months of this season was wondering what in the world was wrong with his body. Eventually diagnosed with mitochondrial disease, something that causes severe muscle fatigue, unable earlier in the year just to make it through an entire ball game. They have picked their spots with Rocco Baldelli, giving him a chance to play with plenty of rest in between. They picked Game 5 as one of his starts in this series, and it pays off after the off day yesterday. His first at bat in the 7th inning tonight, to going 0 for 2 in his previous at bats is a game tying home run.
How about that? Only 80 at bats all year during the regular season.
Here is Iwamura against a left-hander, J.C. Romero. Go-ahead run at second with 2 out. And a good fastball hits the inside corner. Akinori Iwamura, who's 1 for 3 in this game, got 3 hits in his first 3 at-bats of this World Series, then went 0 for his next 13 as Chad Bradford gets loose. Runner at second, 2 out, and Iwamura grounds one up the middle. Utley, good play, has no play at first, throws home, and out is the call to end the inning. Bartlett kept running as Utley hung on to the baseball instead of throwing to first.
Looks to first, fakes to first, comes home. Alert play by Utley.
Bartlett out at home, and the top of the 7th is over. We're tied. It hit, but Utley kept it on the infield and got the out at the plate.
Utley faking toward first and then throwing home immediately, realizing Bartlett had rounded third. And look at the tag by Ruiz. J.C. Martin on the other, or J.C. Romero on the other hand, was breaking toward first base. That's why he's almost in the way of the runner and had to hurdle Bartlett, who was sliding head first.
Here's a strike to Burrell underway in the bottom of the 7th. Burrell, Victorino, and Phillies. J.P. Howell came on to get the final 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning by striking out Utley and getting Howard on a pop-up. Burrell 0 for 1 tonight and 0 for 13 in this World Series. That's low. A ball and a strike.
With the runner on at second base, a second baseman, particularly with 2 outs, is always aware of where he is and who the base runner is. His first look, if he doesn't have a play at first base, is always to third to perhaps throw behind the runner.
This one hit into center. Burrell got a lot of it. Upton will watch it go off the wall. And Burrell will dig into second with a leadoff double.
First hit of the World Series, a hanging curveball. And normally this ball is way out of this park. But as Joe said earlier, that wind kept it in.
So Burrell, who doesn't run all that well, is lifted for a pinch runner, Bruntlett. Pat Burrell, a free agent to be, has spent his career in this organization. Leads off the bottom of the 7th with a double. The go-ahead run in scoring position. J.P. Howell will hand off. Chad Bradford will come into the game, with Victorino coming up. We're tied in the 7th.
Pat Burrell with a leadoff double here in the 7th inning. I know he's not a fast runner, but you never know when the situation will present itself to get an extra base. And Burrell is not running hard from first to third or from home to first. And by the time he gets to second base, he turns it on, but ends up with a double and could have had a triple. I know you're safety first with nobody out, but I think he could be on third base. Maybe not should, but could be.
Here's Bradford now taking over with Victorino coming up. It's Victorino. Pedro Feliz is already standing out there as well. There are other options off the bench for Charlie Manuel, with Feliz the next scheduled hitter. One of his best is Greg Dobbs off the bench, as Scott Air gets loose alongside Chad Durbin. Go ahead run at second, nobody out. And again, this Tampa Bay infield expects a bunt. And again, David Price is getting loose. Bruntlett doing the running for Pat Burrell.
I think a bunt right here is a low percentage play. You're bunting for the bottom of the order. Pedro Feliz had 48 RBIs all year. Not real good. Victorino is a good hitter. The chance of him pulling the ball. You have the infield looking for the bunt. They're out of position. I think swinging away is the play here instead of bunting.
They keep it on, and he bunts it foul. Victorino started the scoring here in Game 5. First inning, bases loaded, 2 out against Kazmir, and he drove home 2. Phillies left him loaded in the first, have stranded 10 to this point. On the other side, the Rays have stranded 4 and just lost a runner at the plate, Bartlett, to end the top of this 7th. So Victorino tonight 1 for 3 are in this game. Stretched over the 2 nights, and now Charlie Manuel walks out to the home plate umpire, Jeff Kellogg.
I wonder if Charlie Manuel is talking about the fact that Chad Bradford does not stop, does not come to a complete stop. A pitcher, when he comes set, has to come to a 1001 complete stop. That could be what the Phillies dugout was arguing about.
It was something I almost said. That first pitch he didn't.
No, he didn't.
His leg was coming up before he came set. Now this is different. Victorino misses it. Didn't look good trying to bunt it. And that's strike 2.
Bunting right through it. Victorino, a very good bunter. I would assume the bunt will be off right here and he'll be swinging.
Still pinched in at the corners on this Rays infield. And he grounds to the right side. Victorino does his job. 1 away. Good at bat by Shane Victorino in a postseason filled with important and good at bats for the Phillies.
The sacrifice bunt was unsuccessful, and Victorino pulls the ball to Iwamura. Now the infield for the Rays once again will come in.
And Charlie Manuel sticks with Pedro Feliz. David Price continues to get loose in the Rays bullpen. Infield is in. Strike 1. Bradford was picked up from the Orioles on August 7th. Had a very good year, especially once he came to the Rays. 21 games, had an ERA under 1.5.
I get your drift, Joe. I assume meaning that Greg Dobbs is your pinch hitter. If you bring in Dobbs, then obviously the Phillies are going to see David Price.
And there's Dobbs with a helmet on, bat in his hands. Ruiz will follow Pedro Feliz, and then the pitcher's spot. Infield in, and a ground ball up the middle, base hit. Pedro Feliz delivers. 4-3 Philadelphia.
With the infield in, the Phillies take the lead again. Finding a hole.
Now it's Feliz at first with 1 out. The batter is Carlos Ruiz. He takes a strike. Pedro Feliz with his 2nd hit of this game and just his 2nd RBI of this World Series. The World Series on Fox, sponsored by the new 12.3 megapixel Nikon D90, the world's first DSLR with HD movie mode. By Warner Brothers' new motion picture, Yes Man, in theaters December 19th. And by the Ford F-150 built Ford Tough. 1 on, 1 out, the 0-1 pitch. Ruiz, strike 2. Dobbs is on deck. Price getting loose for the Rays. Here comes an 0-2. Instead, Bradford steps off. Ruiz gets one up the middle. What a play by Iwamura for the force out. Ball was almost past him. That's the second out here in the bottom of the 7th.
I think it was past him. He caught that ball behind him. What a remarkable play by Iwamura to get Phillies as the lead runner.
Right over the second base bag, and Akinori shows how much range he has going to his right. And now you have J.C. Romero, who's going to bat with a runner at first, 2 out. So Charlie Manuel will let Romero hit as he grounds one up the middle. Iwamura makes the play because he wants Romero to go back out to work with Crawford, Upton, and Pena due up in the 8th. Philadelphia retakes the lead. It's 4-3. It's 4-3 Philadelphia now, 8th inning of Game 5. Phillies up 3-1, and Romero deals down and in to Carl Crawford, who is in the number 2 spot for this Game 5 for the first time since July 19th. Now Brad Lidge starts to get loose for the Phillies. Two, 3, and 4 hitters for the Rays, down by 1. Upton will follow as Crawford takes ball 2. Bruntlett stays in the game. He's out in left. And no other changes. Both Romero hit in the bottom of the 7th after J.P. Howell hit in the top of the 7th. Good fastball, strike 1. Crawford is 0 for 3 in this game. And that's low, a 3-1 count.
We talked about this earlier in the World Series. J.C. Romero has been remarkably effective. The only dent in the armor is an occasional walk, and it's a mysterious thing. Comes from nowhere. Behind in the count here, 3-1.
And he fires strike 2. Really the overlooked reliever out there in that combination that's talked about with Madsen and Lidge. You have to add Romero's name to that short relief group for the Phillies. The count's full, 3-2. Crawford starts it with a hit. So Charlie Manuel kept Romero in the game to face Crawford, and Crawford gets him with a base hit to center. This Keys to Success checklist for the World Series on Fox, sponsored by the movie Yes Man, starring Jim Carrey. Carlos Pena delivered on Monday night. Rocco Baldelli went deep to tie it in the top of the 7th. And Pedro Feliz is happy. with a base hit up the middle to plate the go-ahead run in the bottom of the 7th. Now it's B.J. Upton.
As far as the Rays are concerned, the importance of Crawford getting a hit is speed's on at first base.
Ground ball to short. A flip for one onto first. Double play.
How huge is this? Off the end of the bat, but routine for Rollins, Utley, and Howard.
Just getting Upton at first. Now it's Carlos Pena, who scored the first run of the night for the Rays in the 4th inning and then drove home the game-tying run in that driving rain in the 6th.
And Joe, you have to figure that under any circumstances, this is the last batter for J.C. Romero.
Longoria on deck. Little overthrow there from J.C. Romero.
Yeah, you could see Ruiz, as you look at Longoria, Ruiz telling Romero, calm down, take a step back.
Two and 0. So now 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning, and even though Scott Air is continuing to throw, you have to believe that when Romero is finished, either here in the 8th or in the 9th, it'll be number 54, Brad Lidge. And it may come here in the 8th. If Romero can't calm down and throw strikes, it's 3-0. And none of the 3 have been close. Pena during the regular season hit 31 home runs. 2 hits in this game. 3 home runs during the postseason. None in this World Series. And strike, 3-1.
Pena, a very good low ball hitter. Power the other way. Fastball inside.
And Pena flips it into left. Bruntlett is there. Phillies at 3 defensive outs away from a championship. Bottom of the 8th, 4-3 Philadelphia. Sponsored by Lincoln, introducing the all-new 2009 Lincoln MKS. Lincoln Reach Higher. By BlackBerry. And by Universal Pictures Changeling, based on a true story. Couple of changes for the Rays. Willie Ibar takes over at first. Double switch. Ibar will bat in the number 9 spot. And now on the mound and hitting in the number 4 spot is David Price.
What a terrific story he is. He had never won a game in any major league season coming up this year, but he won a game and saved a game in the postseason and retired the last 4 outs of Game 7 in the American League Championship Series against the Red Sox.
Number 1 overall pick last year out of Vanderbilt. And now pitching in Game 5 of the World Series, trying to keep it a 1-run game. With Longoria, Navarro, and Baldelli coming up in the 9th inning for the Rays. Ball 1 to Jimmy Rollins. who in this game is 0 for 2. Two and 0. Rollins hits one in the air to left. Back is Crawford as the wind knocks it down, 1 out. The last Philadelphia championships, 1960 Eagles with Chuck Bednarik, 1975 Flyers, Broad Street Bullies led by Bobby Clark, the 80 Phillies in the 6-game World Series triumph over the Royals, and then the 83 76ers, the last one of the 4 major sports, led by Moses Malone, Dr. J, coached by Billy Cunningham. Won 12 of 13 playoff games that year, including a sweep of the Lakers in the finals. Here is Worth, who's had a perfect night. 2 hits, 2 walks, a run scored, and an RBI in the bottom of the 6th. Lidge is getting ready. The 1-1. Ball 2. Out of play. I'm sure there are going to be those who question Joe Maddon and why he allowed J.P. Howell a chance to bat in the 7th inning. After the Rays had tied it on the home run by Baldelli, Bartlett got on with a hit, a bunt from Howell, and he went back out there and allowed that leadoff double to Pat Burrell. That's strike 3. And out number 2 from David Price. Let's go down to Chris Myers. Chris?
Well, Joe, soon after that last championship you just talked about in Philadelphia, a building was erected in downtown Philadelphia taller than the statue of William Penn, the founding father, who sits on top of City Hall. And there was a gentleman's agreement that you'd never build a building taller than that. So the local lore has it that in a game of curses and hexes that Philly sports franchises were punished because of that. Well, just this year, the Comcast building, the tallest building this side of Chicago and in Philadelphia, was established and put up at the top a statue of William Penn, not to affect the hope of a sports franchise. So we've seen the Red Sox end their curse. The Cubs continues. Who would have figured that William Penn may have had something to do, a hand in a possible Phillies championship?
Thank you, Chris. 1 ball, no strikes on Utley. And now that one down and away. And no swing by Utley. It's 2-0. You know, that question will be asked that we were talking about with regard to Joe Maddon sticking with J.P. Howell. Howell has been getting big outs all season long. He left David Price in the bullpen, and the Phillies regained the advantage against a combination of Howell and Bradford, with Price standing in the bullpen. And now he's come on. He's retired the first 2, and he's run the count to 3-0 on Chase Utley. The 23-year-old brings it. It's a strike, and he did not let up to throw at 95 miles per hour. It's 3-1. It was the bottom part of the order for the Phillies that regained the lead in the 7th. 3-2, and that swing by Chase Utley with a count in his favor tells you all you need to know about the stuff of David Price,
who will be a starter after this year. And everyone in and around the game expects a successful starter for a long time.
It's 3-0, now 3-2. And a 2-out walk. The other part of it, when you talk about strategy, is obviously nothing is automatic. And nothing is automatic, even with the stuff of David Price, who's going to get a visit now from Jim Hickey as pitching coach. Price certainly showed a lot in the ALCS, and especially in Game 7 against the Red Sox. But I guarantee you Joe Maddon will talk about what we talked about, which is the big outs that J.P. Howell has been getting all season long. The problem was, from the Rays standpoint, it was Pat Burrell first up. Joe Maddon liked that matchup. He talked about it specifically before the game with us. And in this case, Burrell got J.P. Howell on a high slider for that leadoff double.
Yeah, high breaking ball. That was Joe Maddon obviously can't be responsible for the breaking balls. That a hanger could have been thrown by David Price too, or Chad Bradford, or any pitcher.
Howard takes a high strike. Hitless in this game is Ryan Howard, 0 for 3 with a walk. We went through all the different scenarios really with both managers leading into the bottom of the 6th when we had a chance to talk to them in their offices, and Joe Maddon said, yeah, we can talk about all this stuff, but it's just going to come down to who makes the pitches and what guys do standing at the plate with a bat in their hands. And it's been the Phillies who have come up with an RBI hit by Worth in the 6th to give them a short-lived 3-2 lead. Then Baldelli tied it in the top of the 7th with a home run, and then the bottom of the order got it done for Philadelphia with an RBI for Pedro Feliz. Here's a 2-1. Good break by Utley, and he steals second with 2 out.
Yeah, when a guy gets that big a jump, throw to third and hope you head him off. No chance for Navarro. Now, if you're thinking about walking Howard, they're a running lead by Utley. If you're thinking about walking Howard, you've got a guy on deck who has seen 1 pitch from David Price this World Series, and that was a home run in Game 2. So not walking him intentionally by any means.
3 balls and a strike. And a full swing by Howard. It's a full count. That sends Game 5 into the 9th inning. Brad Lidge is ready to go. He'll face Longoria, Navarro, Baldelli for the Rays. In his first year with the Philadelphia Phillies, Brad Lidge has been perfect. 41 of 41 during the regular season, 6 for 6 in save opportunities in the postseason. He has saved his last 50 straight, dating back to his time with the Houston Astros. And here he is trying to end the World Series and save it again for the Phillies. Evan Longoria, the rookie, first up. Strike 1.
Fastball, slider. First pitch, a slider. Not only slides away from a right-hander, but it goes down also.
6 postseason home runs for Longoria, who's in the hole 0-2. Last home run Brad Lidge allowed August 3rd to Troy Glaus. Longoria able to lay off that devastating slider. Two and two. Out of play. You have to go back 27 at-bats for Longoria. A Game 5 home run. The ALCS against Boston, his last long ball. Off balance. One out. The Phillies won their 6th National League pennant when they beat the Dodgers. Their only championship the 1980 season when they beat Kansas City in the World Series 28 years ago. This is the 126th year in franchise history. Navarro. Strike one. When the Phillies won it in 1980, Game 6, they clinched it on October 21st. Steve Carlton, the 4-time Cy Young Award winner, was the winning pitcher. McGraw got the save. Strike two.
Keep in mind that Lidge's slider is so good that occasionally it'll get by Carlos Ruiz, the catcher. He is one of the best in the business at blocking balls in the dirt. He had one strikeout wild pitch against the Dodgers in the NLCS that allowed a runner to go to first after striking out.
Broken bat into right, base hit, and the tying run is on for Tampa Bay. Deoner Navarro shattered his bat. He is aboard with one out.
Now what Joe Maddon can do, he can send in Fernando Perez as a pinch runner for Navarro. Navarro, not a fast runner, breaks his bat on the slider, but he'll trade a bat for a hit any day.
And Ben Zobrist is off the bench to bat for Baldelli. Baldelli homered in his last at bat, and now it's Zobrist. Perez does the running at first. He's there with one out. Strike one. This is a Tampa Bay team that has 23 stolen bases this postseason. That is a baseball record for a single postseason. One ball, one strike. For Perez, he stole 5. Was not caught this season.
And George Hendrick, the first base coach, trying to make Perez aware of the slider in the dirt. If it bounces away from Ruiz, go to second. But you have to go immediately.
There he goes. Got a good jump, throw down, not near in time. And so Perez, the pinch runner, steals second. He's there with 1 out, representing the tying run.
That's a problem not only with Lidge, but a lot of excellent closers, is they do not have a good move to first base. And Perez steals it easily.
So not only is Zobrist up now, but Eric Hinsky has come into the on-deck circle to bat for Bartlett. And again, time is called at the plate as Ben Zobrist, who hit .253 during the regular season, 12 homers, 30 RBIs, and who is 1 for 6 in this World Series, 1 for 10 in this postseason, waits for a 2-1. Zobrist lines one into right at Worth. 2 out.
Zobrist hits it right on the button, a slider. Too much hang time.
Perez stays at second. He is there with 2 out. And Eric Hinsky will bat for Bartlett. How about this? Eric Hinsky, who was added to the active roster prior to this series shifting to Philadelphia because of a torn labrum on the part of Cliff Floyd. And in his only at bat, he shot a pinch hit home run into center field. So a late addition to the active roster, and he is the last hope for the Tampa Bay Rays. That's foul. Strike 2. On the swing and not on the pitch.
And the pitch was the slider. Hinsky went too far. That was close.
It was called a swinging strike by home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg. Nothing in 2. Phillies are world champions. Brad Lidge remains perfect. In the middle of all that mayhem, down in the middle of the field, is Ken Rosenthal with Brad Lidge. Ken.
Thank you, Joe. Brad, you enter the game 3 outs away. How tough was it controlling your emotions at that time?
It's honestly very hard to control the emotions right now. I mean, this is so incredible. I'm so happy to be here. I have to thank God, Jesus Christ, my family, and these fans are amazing, and my teammates are the best in the world, and I couldn't be happier right now.
Perfect season. How did you do it?
With the help of all these guys out here, that's how I did it. With the help of Carlos Ruiz and everybody, and Chris Coates and everybody in our bullpen and everybody behind me, that's how it happened.
How about the hit from Ryan Howard on the celebration, the one that you took?
I've never felt better being hit by a big guy like that in my life. Incredible.
You had trouble your first postseason. How redeeming was all this for you?
It's so redeeming, but honestly, for me, it was never about that. It was about winning it for this city and for this team and for this year. And this is us. This is our time right now. I don't care about that other crap. This is it right here.
Brad, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ken.
Let's go to Chris Myers.
All right, I'm having trouble hearing you here. Congratulations with Jimmy Rollins as your teammates celebrate around you. This city is in its brotherly celebration. Congratulations. The drought's over.
Oh, man, it's over. It's over, man. Golly.
You're exhausted.
I'm done.
Sweating into the How about the rain delay? It was like it would never happen here.
You know what? Charlie does a great job in keeping us mentally prepared. He's done that all year long. And, even though we had a day and a half off, we all went home, with the game still playing in our mind. No one ever shut down. We didn't have the attitude, let's start over. We came in. Before Jinx got up and hit that big double, I told him, it's not the bottom of the first, it's the bottom of the sixth, so act like it. And told him, you get that double, I'm bunting him over the third. He hit the double. I looked at Charlie to make sure he wanted me to bunt because, sometimes he let you swing, but I wasn't going to swing either way.
It's been a long season. What was the key and for this team to get through it all?
Oh, man, determination. We had ups and downs, like every team. Brett Myers, a great story this year. Brad Lidge, a super great story this year. But through it all, we never lost confidence, and we stayed determined. And then you got, the old man right over here, the 50-year-old winning 16 games for us this year. And, I guess he was a number 3 starter. I don't know. I don't have numbers. But to get that win from this guy is definitely a big contribution.
Jimmy's hosting his own celebration show. You're Philadelphia. If anybody represents St. Joe's, you're from Pennsylvania. This has to be emotional for you.
It is. It's, this is a dream come true. And, being at the parade in 80 and now going to be in a parade sometime later this week, it's all worth it. But we battled together all season long. Everybody played well this season. we've had our ups and downs like every club has, and we were able to stay healthy, and we battled through it, and here we are.
I guess parade is it's a key word. It's been a bad word in Philadelphia for a lot of years. This is more than just a World Series title, right?
Well, it'll be a fun thing, I'm sure.
What was the key, Jamie? A blend of young players, veteran players. Thanks, Jimmy. I know you have other people you want to celebrate with, but guys that had to step up through the course of the year. You were thought of as contenders, but never really a favorite through the course of the season.
Well, you know what? Until you play that 162-game schedule, you never know what's going to happen. And, you know, everybody contributed this year. And we had some young guys come up. Jay Happ came up and pitched well. You know, Kyle Kendrick had a great 3 quarters, almost a full season. You know, but the key thing is everybody contributed when he stayed healthy.
And a perfect record at home in the postseason. The fans stuck with you. It was important to win it at home here.
Well, of course, you'd love to win it here at your home ballpark as we did tonight. And you know, it was a crazy way to win it with a suspended game, but we did it, and it's over. And I'm very excited.
In Philly stock. Congratulations, Jamie.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Let's go back upstairs to Joe Buck.
All right, thank you, Chris and Ken. That's just the beginning of the celebration from Philadelphia. 126 years of playing baseball for the Phillies. They celebrate their 2nd championship. So much more to come from Philadelphia. Stay with us as we continue here on Fox.
This November,
what are you doing? Feeling what it's like to get away from it all.
The machines are closing in.
I'm looking for this girl.
An ally goes too far.
Oh, you don't trust me?
And in the fight for the future,
It's business. This is business.
someone won't survive. The biggest episodes of the season are coming, all new, all November long.
Do you have a plan?
I have a weapon.
Terminator, viewer discretion advised, all new Monday at 8/7 Central on Fox.
I'm gonna make your friends watch.
If they want me back in Washington, they can come and get me.
All right, everybody, let's go.
Abracadabra.
Mad skills, babe. We need him alive.
You know, I hate when you sniff and smell dead things.
There's my lovely bride.
Suck it, Gumby.
He's telling the truth.
Could find out for certain.
Whoa.
I've never had a conversation with a dead guy before. Forgive me if I don't know the rules.
$1 million question. My advice would be for you to disappear, Gordy. Gordy. Yeah.
You know you're gonna pay for that.
I'm paying for it right now with wisdom.
Now get paid just for doing the right thing. With GreenSense, we'll pay you a dime every time you pay without paper, like when you use your debit card or pay a bill online. You can get up to $120 a year. It's good for the environment and your bank account. GreenSense, only from Citizens Bank.
Steroids can really damage your body. They can cause tendons to tear and bones to stop growing, damage kidneys, destroy the liver, even cause heart attacks and strokes. Not to mention something else they can do to a guy's body. Find out more about the dangers of using steroids. Visit drugfree.org.
Gillespie never gives up, even if it's an 0-2 count.
The big man taught me to be patient and wait for the right pitch.
It's perseverance that's going to make Gillespie a household name.
Howard calls it perseverance. Me, I think it's more of a gift.
Major League Baseball supports the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Here, kids learn values like perseverance.
I think Howard's a promising player. He just needs a little coaching.
Major League Baseball and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Together, we create a positive place for kids.
Welcome to the Chevy postgame show on Fox. Chevy, an American revolution. The celebration is just underway here in Philadelphia, and we take you back to the final pitch, the final out, as described by Harry Kalas in his 38th year at the mic with Philadelphia.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball. Brad Lynch does it again and stays perfect for the 2008 season. 48 for 48 in save opportunities, and let the city celebrate.
And celebrate they are. Let's go down to the field and say hi to Jeannie Zalasko.
Hello, Joe Buck. Yes. They are singing proud, and guess what, Philadelphia? The wait, it is over. It is over. You get a World Series in your backyard, and now you have a title again. World champion. The 28-year drought is over, and the Commissioner of Baseball has a present for all of you. And, of course, the men who helped get you here, your president and CEO, Mr. Montgomery, Pat Gillick, your general manager, and your manager, Charlie Manuel. Mr. Commissioner.
Thank you, Jeannie. Well, on behalf of Major League Baseball, it is my pleasure to present to you the 2008 World Championship Trophy. It's been 28 years since Philadelphia last won a World Championship, 25 years since Philadelphia's won a championship, but here's the trophy. So Pat, Dave, and Charlie, you are the 2008 World Champion.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Here you go, Philadelphia. It's all yours. Mr. Montgomery, I am going to start with you. Can you tell the world what this means to not just the 47,000 here, but the Philadelphia Phillies fans everywhere?
Well, first of all, Jeannie, on behalf of our organization, we'd like to congratulate the Tampa Bay Rays on a spectacular season. And now to our passionate Philadelphia fans. We're so proud that we are the Philadelphia Phillies, and our first name is Philadelphia. We represent our city. I'd like to thank the Mayor Nutter, who's been so supportive of our effort, but most of all, the fact that over 44,000 fans turned out again tonight out of 45,000. This is for you.
Yeah, and Mr. Montgomery, I know you want to talk about your men here standing by you.
I absolutely do, because the credit goes to our scouting and player development system with so many homegrown players, led by our tremendous general manager, Pat Gillick, and our field staff, led by Charlie Manuel.
All right, you brought the guys up, so we want to hear from them. I know that this is not foreign territory to you. You've won a title. This is now number 3, twice with Toronto, but where does this rank?
Right up at the top, Jeannie. Thanks to the fans, the players, Charlie Manuel. It was a great year. Thanks for your support, and let's do it again.
All right, but wait a second. You've told everybody that you're going to retire. Any thoughts of hanging around a little bit longer after this?
It's a great celebration, and let's focus on the night, and we'll worry about tomorrow. Thanks again.
Yeah, either way, a tremendous send-off. Okay, I know what you're going to tell me. You're a humble guy, and you're going to tell me you wouldn't be here without the great players that were around you. But be honest with me, 2 of your starting pitchers you had to send down to the minor leagues, one for a stretch, he came back up, and then there was a 10-week hitting drought. Did you really believe you would be standing on this stage in late October?
I always thought we could win the World Series. I knew we could beat anybody in our league. And when I look and I see my guys, I see our chemistry and our attitude, our makeup, and how much we like to play, and how much the Philadelphia fans back us. I know we can win the World Series. Hold on a minute. And listen, this is for Philadelphia. This is for our fans. Hey, when I look around here, who's the world champions? All right, thank you.
I got to hit you with one more here, my friend. I know you're surrounded here by family, but on a regular basis during the season, you would get phone calls from your mama who would tell you not only to win, but she expected you to win. What do you think she would be saying to you right now?
I think she'd be very happy, and she would be laughing and giggling, and she'd be telling me how good our team was. That's what I think.
All right, sir. Congratulations. Congratulations. Wait a second. This just in. Look at the paper delivery boy here. Anybody know this guy? Can you guys read this? Hold it up. We're going to get it on TV. He worked very hard for this.
Everybody give it up for Charlie Manuel.
And I think they're giving it up for Charlie Manuel. We have more stuff to give away as well. Going right now to Chris Myers.
All right, thanks, Jeannie. Right now it is sunny in Philadelphia. Commissioner Bud Selig to present the Most Valuable Player Award for the Phillies World Series Championship. Phil Caruso from Chevrolet is here. Commissioner.
It is my pleasure to present the 2008 Most Valuable Player Award to Cole Hamels. Cole was 1-0 with a 2.77 earned run average and pitched brilliantly. So Cole, congratulations, Most Valuable Player of the 2008 World Series.
Go ahead, Cole. You got something for the fans here?
No, I just, most of all, I'd love to thank you guys, the fans, because without you guys, it's a lot harder to go out there and pitch, especially in the rain. But you guys were here, and you stuck by, and you helped me get through that, and you helped our teammates get through that. So I thank you.
All right, that's not all you get. Phil Caruso from Chevrolet. It's a Phillies revolution, Phil.
Congratulations, Cole. And on behalf of Chevrolet and all of our Chevy dealers, I am pleased to present to you the 21st Century Sports Car, the 2010 Chevrolet Camaro.
It's got the keys. Thank you, Phil. And here's a look at the car. And I think it's your wife's birthday today, right, Cole?
It is. It's her 30th birthday today, so this is definitely for her.
Philly fans will never forget her birthday. Just talk about your calm, cool demeanor out on the man, knowing you were carrying this team not only here, but through the entire postseason.
You know, this is something that you have to live for. And, you know, as going out there, I knew I had a job to do. I had the support of these fans. I had my teammates behind me. And all I had to really go do was just go throw a baseball as well as I knew how to. And I was able to do that. My teammates backed me up, and we executed, and we came home with this nice World Series trophy.
And finally, did you feel like you had more on your shoulders than just maybe a World Series title? There were other Philadelphia sports franchises that hadn't won a championship in quite some time.
No, I think that's what makes it special, because baseball here is coming back. We love these fans, and we love the amount of red that they're wearing tonight.
All right, congratulations, MVP Cole Hamels. Cole, thanks for your time, all right? Enjoy the offseason. Back upstairs to Joe Buck.
All right, Chris, thank you. I remember going into Charlie Manuel's office after that Game 1 start of the World Series, and I said, you know what? I think that left-hander's okay. And he said, yep, Cole Hamels is pretty good, isn't he? He's the MVP of this World Series, and boy, did he deserve it. We will have more coming up from Philadelphia right after this.